Romantic Tales. Chapter 206. A friend in need is a friend indeed. I didn't know that Xiao Cixi was so concerned about me. Zhang Bin smirked. What are you going to do about this? That kid wrote me a challenge letter. Yang Ming saw that Zhang Bin was fine, so he was relieved. Just now he wasn't sure if Zhang Bin was pretending. He just judged from Zhang Bin's expression and the slight movement of his eyelids. Challenge letter? Damn, I heard about this. Bro, are you really going to fight? Zhang Bin asked. Otherwise what? You can't take this beating for nothing. Yang Ming said. Of course not. I mean, let's just start from behind and beat him up. Zhang Bin suggested. Yang Ming shook his head. I will definitely retaliate against him. But now, since he has given me a chance to take revenge in an open and above-board manner, why should I start from behind? What? Bro, it can't be. You want to compete with him in Taekwondo? Zhang Bin was surprised. Who said that I want to compete with him in Taekwondo? He said that he wanted to learn from each other, but he didn't say what to learn from each other. Yang Ming smiled very shamelessly and said, haven't you heard of the saying brick-breaking martial art? Damn, is this even possible? Zhang Bin sneered after hearing it. Originally, Zhang Bin wanted to stay in the school clinic for a few more days. However, the wounds on his face and body were all superficial and they were soon healed. Even the doctor said that there was no problem. Zhang Bin had to leave the hospital helplessly. Other people would look happy when they were discharged from the hospital, but Zhang Bin looked like he had lost money. These 2 days, Xiao Cixi's care for Zhang Bin could be said to be meticulous. She was just short of feeding him step by step. Zhang Bin enjoyed this feeling of deep affection very much. The relationship between the two also improved by leaps and bounds. Zhang Bin originally wanted to delay for a few more days to settle the matter between the two of them, but he didn't expect that his skin's recovery ability was simply too strong. In less than 2 days, it was as if nothing had happened. Zhang Bin didn't want to stay as that would make Xiao Cixi feel that he had ulterior motives. In order to celebrate Zhang Bin's discharge from the hospital, Yang Ming suggested that they go to a restaurant to celebrate. However, Xiao Cixi insisted that Zhang Bin couldn't drink as he had just been discharged from the hospital. They had no choice but to go to a Daiko's fast food restaurant near the school. It was said that this was a foreign fast food restaurant opened by a local. However, for Yang Ming, he couldn't tell whether it was good or bad. He felt that it was the same. After ordering, they found an empty table and sat down. Congratulations on your safe discharge from the hospital. Yang Ming raised the Coke in his hand. No way. I didn't do anything. You don't have to be so serious, right? Zhang Bin laughed. Of course. Xiao Cixi also raised her cup. After the four of them clinked their cups, Qin Mengyan asked, Zhang Bin, how do you want to deal with this matter? Do you want to tell the teacher or just let it go? Qin Mengyan was a good student. Subconsciously, the first thought that came to her mind was to report to the school. At that time, if Zhang Bin didn't try to stop it, this matter might have already spread to the school. It's okay. Didn't Yang Ming already promise to avenge me? Zhang Bin said halfway. Suddenly, he found that Yang Ming was staring at him fiercely. He immediately knew that he said too much. Yang Ming was afraid that Qin Mengyan would be worried, so the matter of accepting Ren Jianren's challenge was only known to Zhang Bin. Now that Zhang Bin let it out, there was no way to hide it. What? Yang Ming? You want to accept Ren Jianren's challenge? Qin Mengyan was stunned. She thought that Yang Ming would never agree to such a boring thing. She didn't expect to hear Zhang Bin's meaning. Yang Ming was going to participate in the battle? Yeah, I want to take the opportunity to teach him a lesson. Since Qin Mengyan already knew, Yang Ming couldn't hide it anymore. Yang Ming, what are you talking about? Do you know what you are doing? How can you use such extreme means to deal with him? Qin Mengyan said with some blame. Moreover, he is a professional Taekwondo athlete. How can you beat him? Is Taekwondo great? That Lu Xiaojun was beaten by me until he couldn't stand up. If it was before, Yang Ming might think that these school Taekwondo clubs had some strength. But now Yang Ming didn't put them in his eyes at all. Yang Ming even dared to say that he could defeat Ren Jianren in one move. Yang Ming, why don't you listen? You are too arrogant. Qin Mengyan frowned and reprimanded. You were caught off guard that day. If it was a formal competition, how can you be his opponent? A formal competition? Yang Ming smiled. He had discussed this issue with Zhang Bin before. Yang Ming comforted her. It's okay. I know what I am doing. Man, don't worry. I will be fine. Moreover, he said that it was a competition. There will be a lot of audience on that day. He can't do anything to me. AI. Qin Mengyan sighed faintly. She knew that she couldn't persuade him in a short time. Anyway, there were still a few days before the competition. Qin Mengyan decided to find a chance to talk to Yang Ming. Have you heard? There is a freshman named Yang Ming who wants to challenge the president of the Taekwondo club, Ren Jianren. Not far behind Yang Ming, two boys were discussing something intensely. Damn, of course I heard. That Yang Ming is so badass. He dares to challenge the president of the Taekwondo club? Boy A said. I think so too, but who knows, he might be a tiger. Boy B said. Who? Yang Ming spat out a mouthful of coke on the table. Who made this rumor? When did I take the initiative to challenge? Zhang Bin, Qin Mengyan and Zhao Sisi also looked at Yang Ming strangely. How did they know about this? How would I know? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. We have been together for the past 2 days. How could this news spread so fast? Before Yang Ming could figure out what was going on, two boys sat at the table on the right side of Yang Ming. Old Lu, have you heard? There is a freshman who dares to challenge the president of the Taekwondo club, Ren Jianren. A boy said. What challenge? According to reliable sources, the two of them are fighting for a girl. The boy called Old Lu said mysteriously, it is said that the girl is very beautiful. She is a candidate for the campus belle of the freshman year. Really? The first boy asked. I also saw it on the campus BBS. In short, there must be some inside story. Old Lu said, I don't believe that someone would challenge for no reason just to learn martial arts. But this freshman student is very fierce. He dares to challenge Ren Jianren? The first boy asked. Who knows? Maybe it was Ren Jianren who started it first. Old Six said. Oh my god. Yang Ming was stunned when he heard the words of the people around him. What the hell is going on? I haven't made it clear whether I will accept the challenge or not, and it has become known to the whole school? In fact, this was also the momentum that Ren Jianren and Lu Xiaojun took the initiative to create. They wanted to embarrass Yang Ming and let everyone mistakenly think that Yang Ming was seeking humiliation by challenging the Taekwondo club. If he lost, it would be a big loss of face. Therefore, as soon as he returned to the dormitory, Lu Xiaojun contacted several roommates and ran to the campus BBS to slander Yang Ming. 3 men become tigers, 4 become immortals and 5 become Arabian myths. So the more the rumors spread on the BBS, the more ridiculous it became. Everyone would add their own imagination in the post, so a twist of the inside story actually appeared. In an instant, a lot of insiders jumped out on the forum to expose the grudge between Yang Ming and the Taekwondo club. The post about Yang Ming competing with others for the campus belle was created in this way. Of course, there was some truth in this. At least the matter of Yang Ming beating up Lu Xiaojun was true. Yang Ming didn't take it seriously at first, but he heard so many people talking about him, and they all said that he took the initiative to challenge the Taekwondo club. Yang Ming finally realized that things were unusual. This was obviously one-sided negative news. He was invited to learn from them, but it became him looking for trouble. If something happened in the future, if the school investigated, then he would be the one to suffer. So the first thing Yang Ming did when he returned to the dormitory was to turn on the computer and log into the school's BBS. After a search, there were hundreds of topics about him. The replies to the posts were countless. Yang Ming clicked on a few popular themes and frowned as he read. Chapter 207. The reason why Yang Ming frowned was because he didn't know who it was. The person actually connected me with Zhou Jiejia. The title of the post was actually about me and Lu Xiaojun fighting because of Zhou Jiejia. It was also accompanied by a few photos taken with a mobile phone. In the photos, Yang Ming was glaring at Lu Xiaojun while Zhou Jiejia stood aside to mediate. This must have been taken by the witness of that day. Excluding his own conjecture, this post was relatively faithful to the truth. However, the witness regarded Yang Ming as a provocator. Not only did he beat up Lu Xiaojun, but he also challenged the entire Taekwondo club. Yang Ming was furious. He picked up the phone and called the administrator of the campus forum to delete the post. Yang Ming didn't want to have anything to do with Zhou Jiejia. However, he didn't expect his request to be rejected by the administrator of the forum. It was said that college students had freedom of speech. As long as they weren't superstitious and weren't reactionary, they wouldn't delete the post. If the post was deleted, then who would dare to post? Fuck. Yang Ming cursed and hung up the phone. However, he didn't expect the administrator of the forum to be on the same side. In less than 5 minutes, an explosive post was posted. Yang Ming cursed and called to delete the post related to Zhou Jieji. Is there a secret, or is he trying to cover up something? The content of the phone call to Yang Ming was exaggerated in the post. It confirmed the connection between him and Zhou Jieji. Then it said that Yang Ming didn't get the administrator's permission and cursed. Yang Ming was so angry that he wanted to throw the administrator of the forum into the sea. In the female dormitory, Zhou Jieji was looking at the new post on the campus forum. There was a faint smile on her face. Jieji, look. Someone actually said that Yang Ming did it for you. Wang Shui pointed to a post on the forum. I saw it. The person who posted it is really interesting. Zhou Jieji said faintly. I don't know what Yang Ming will think when he sees it. Will he pay attention to you? Wang Shui said with a smile, but I think that Yang Ming has a problem with his eyes. You are so beautiful. How can he not like you? Wang Shui, don't mention the past again. I was too stupid. Zhou Jieji's beautiful eyes showed a hint of regret. However, it seems that God is helping you this time. Wang Shui said. If this news is sensationalized, even if Yang doesn't admit it, everyone will think so. Then he will only hate me even more. Zhou Jieji said lightly, maybe he will think that I did it on purpose. Jieji, Wang Shui said. Yang Jieji, S Yang, said Zhou Jieji, S's, said Zhou Jieji. Is Jieji. TT. Of them was started. These posts are obviously posted by Lu Zhaojun and Ren Jianren. Wang Shui said. Yeah, but these posts will soon disappear. Zhou Jieji shook her head and said. What? Jieji, you mean you want to? Wang Shui was stunned. Zhou Jieji nodded and sighed. The administrator of this forum seems to be in cahoots with them. I hope he knows what to do. Otherwise, this forum will be paralyzed for a few days. After that, Zhou Jieji's little hand danced quickly on the keyboard. Huh? Yang Ming refreshed the forum page to see if there were any new unfavorable posts. But he was surprised to find that all the posts about him disappeared. Damn, no way? Yang Ming thought, I haven't threatened that kid yet, and he took the initiative to delete my post? Could it be that he heard of my reputation and was afraid that I would beat him up? Of course, Yang Ming was just thinking about it. The possibility was very small. But since someone deleted the post, Yang Ming was even happier. Yang Ming, are you online? Zhang Bin came in with 2 bottles of green tea and threw a bottle to Yang Ming. I heard that Lu Zhaojun and the others are creating hype on the internet. Damn, do you want me to help you create hype? I create hype? What am I hyping up? Yang Ming asked curiously. Fuck them. They posted that you provoked them first. Now the outside world is saying that we are at fault. When the time comes, even if you win, it will be an unfair victory. So the hearts of the people are very important. Zhang Bin said, let's create hype and arouse everyone's sympathy. They will say that they bullied us. When the time comes, if we win, we will do justice for the heavens. Even if we lose, we will lose honorably and not succumb to the obscenities of these people. I didn't expect you to have such a trick up your sleeve. After listening, Yang Ming felt that Zhang Bin's words were very feasible, so he said, that's true, but we don't know many people. Can't be just us, right? They are obviously a group of people operating it. That's not a big deal. The salespeople under my dad always post some company advertisements on the internet. I will tell them and let them post on our school's forum in the next few days. Zhang Bin had obviously thought of a countermeasure. Under Zhang Bin's instructions, all the salespeople in Zhang's company put down what they were doing and began to focus on posting. People who could eat the salespeople's bowl of rice were definitely not ordinary people. Otherwise, they would definitely starve to death. These people also had a common characteristic, which was that they were very talkative. Their mouths were full of words. They absolutely didn't blink when making up stories. As a result, various versions of Lu Zhaojun and Ren Jianren bullying freshmen appeared out of nowhere. Fighting, bullying freshmen, flirting with female students, insulting female teachers, beating up male teachers, and so on. Anyway, these salespeople made up stories out of nothing. These people were all masters of bullshitting. They made it sound like it was true. In addition, Lu Zhaojun and Ren Jianren didn't have a good reputation in the school, so a lot of students believed it. In addition, these salespeople were instructed by Zhang Bin to vaguely insinuate in the posts that the previous one-sided posts were made by Lu Zhaojun and Ren Jianren. The reason why they were deleted was because they distorted the facts. This time there were even more people who were convinced. This forum represented the school official. Deleting the posts was the official idea. How could it be fake? Jing Tianqi, what happened to you? You deleted the previous posts? Lu Xiaojun angrily called the forum's administrator. Lu Xiaojun, it wasn't me who deleted it. I am also investigating the problem, Jing Tianqi said with sweat. It wasn't you? You are the administrator of the forum. If it wasn't you, who was it? Lu Xiaojun said angrily, do you want to go against our taekwondo club? Vice President Lu, it really wasn't me. I don't know why, but I can't enter the forum's backend. My administrative authority is invalid. Jing Tianqi explained. I don't understand why you are telling me this. Just fix it for me as soon as possible. Lu Xiaojun said. Yes, of course. Jing Tianqi quickly agreed. What the hell, what's going on? After hanging up the phone, Jing Tianqi stared at the error dialog box on the screen in front of him and frowned. Could it be that it was hacked? But the security of the server was done by XX company. There can't be a problem, right? Half an hour later, Jing Tianqi began to sweat. There were more and more posts that were beneficial to Yang Ming, but he couldn't do anything. And not only were some sock puppets posting, but some old users were also posting to scold Lu Xiaojun and Ren Jianren. He's not stupid, huh? He knows how to find some sock puppets to counterattack. Wang Shui pointed to the computer screen and said, it's just that these sock puppets are newly registered. They are not convincing enough. Zhou Jiajia said with a smile. Then you should help him. Wang Shui smiled and said, isn't it a piece of cake for you to use other people's accounts to post? Say this enemy. Zhou Jiajia sighed. I help him, but he doesn't know. Don't help if you have the ability. Wang Shui glanced at Zhou Jiajia and shook her head. I don't have the ability. Zhou Jiajia said helplessly. Damn boss, no way? Is your charisma that strong? Many old users' big accounts suddenly appeared in the forum to post in support of you. Zhang Bin said in surprise, look at this guy, he registered 2 years ago and his points are in the tens of thousands. But Zhang Bin, did you notice that there is not a single opposing post? Did Lu Xiaojun give up? Or is there a conspiracy? Yang Ming asked curiously. In fact, it was not that Lu Xiaojun did not post but that he could not post at all. The system seemed to have set keywords. As long as he posted something unfavorable to Yang Ming, it would prompt, sorry, the post you posted contains sensitive words, please edit it. Lu Xiaojun was going crazy. This Jing Tianqi, what is he doing? Chapter 208. Jing Tianqi wanted to use this opportunity to build a good relationship with Lu Xiaojun, but he didn't expect such an accident. Jing Tianqi had no choice but to take a taxi to the company's computer room where the forum server was hosted for maintenance. However, he found out that the original data backup area of the server was also destroyed. It was almost impossible to fix it. Jing Tianqi had no choice but to shut down the server and transfer the domain name to a temporary space. He posted a statement explaining that the server was under maintenance and the forum would be suspended for 2 days. He didn't expect that this would cause so much trouble. Jiajia, I didn't expect them to be so impatient and shut down the forum temporarily. Wang Shui laughed. Yeah, but this statement needs to be changed. Zhou Jiajia said ambiguously. It was easy to get control of the domain name. After changing the password, they pointed it to a free space on another network. The statement became that because a lot of truth was published on the forum, some people were jealous so they were attacked. The server was down and was under maintenance. With this, even a fool could guess the hidden meaning in the statement. Lu Xiaojun and Ren Jianren were dissatisfied with the truth leaked on the forum, so they found a hacker to hack the forum. Jing Tianqi just came out of the computer room and his phone rang again. Hello, Vice President Lu, I have shut down the server. Don't worry. Jing Tianqi said quickly. Fuck. Are you fucking sure you want to go against our taekwondo club? What did you mean by that statement? Lu Xiaojun was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Nothing. I'm just telling the truth. The server was malfunctioning. What's wrong with that? Jing Tianqi was baffled. Good, you are really good. Jing Tianqi, oh Jing Tianqi, just you wait. I can't take care of you anymore. After that, Lu Xiaojun hung up the phone. Jing Tianqi was a little baffled. What did I do? Could it be? A bad idea suddenly crossed his mind. Jing Tianqi quickly ran back to the computer room and found a computer with internet access. He opened the forum and his mouth was wide open. Isn't this speed a bit too fast? Zheng Tianqi quickly logged into the IDC company's management interface, but he found out that the management password of the domain name was changed. It would take some time to get these things and the verification process would take 1 to 2 working days. Zheng Tianqi shuddered at the thought. The reason why the duel between Yang Ming and Ren Jianren had become such a big deal and attracted the attention of the entire school was actually entirely because of Ren Jianren himself. If he and Lu Xiaojun hadn't wanted to ruin Yang Ming's reputation by posting on the school's BBS, they wouldn't have reaped what they had sown. But now that things had reached a point of no return, Lu Xiaojun and Ren Jianren simply didn't care and let these public opinions spread. Anyway, they had a bad reputation in the school, so it didn't matter if they had more. This way, no one would dare to mess with the Taekwondo club in the future. Of course, all of this had to be based on winning. Regarding Yang Ming, Ren Jianren still had the confidence to deal with him. One had to know that he was a professional Taekwondo fighter. Normally, 3 or 4 people would not be able to get close to him. Yang Ming was also very curious about the situation on the school's BBS. He had heard that the school's forum administrator Zheng Tianqi had a very close relationship with Lu Xiaojun. Also, because of the forum incident, Zheng Tianqi had already been taught a lesson once. Yang Ming didn't believe that this guy would help him. But the fact was that the statement was still on the internet, and it was very obvious that it hinted the truth to the visitors. Yang Ming also thought about whether or not someone was helping him, but he asked Zhang Bin, Chen Mengyan and his friends around him and no one did this. Yang Ming could only temporarily not think about this matter. Chen Mengyan called him many times, trying to persuade him to give up on the duel with Ren Jianren. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Mengyan, in the current situation, do you think I can still give up? So many people are looking at me. If I give up, can I still mingle in Songjiang Industry University in the future? In the future you will be despised when you are with me because of this. You don't want others to say that your boyfriend is a coward, right? But Chen Mengyan hesitated. Yang Ming's words were very reasonable and she couldn't refute it. But she was afraid that Yang Ming would have some accident. Seeing that Chen Mengyan hesitated, Yang Ming continued, Mengyan, don't worry. I don't know Taekwondo. I think when the time comes under the eyes of the public he can't do anything to me. Okay then, but you must be careful. I don't want anything to happen to you. Chen Mengyan sighed and said, no problem. Will you come and watch? Asked Yang Ming. Of course, how can I not go? Chen Mengyan said coquettishly, you can rest assured. I will cheer for you. Then you can wait and see the return of my king. Yang Ming chuckled. For this competition, Yang Ming had already thought of a countermeasure. Yang Ming didn't know Taekwondo at all. So when the time came, even if Yang Ming didn't use Taekwondo, it didn't matter. No one would come out to criticize him. It was precisely because of this that Yang Ming had an opportunity. Yang Ming's mouth flashed a sinister smile. This time I will let you see what is called the brick-breaking martial art. Monday afternoon was the activity time of each club. There were no classes for each age group. However, today many people who didn't join the club also chose to stay in the university. If it were a normal time, many people would have gone out to pick up girls or go to the internet cafe to play games. The purpose of these people was to watch the competition between Yang Ming and Ren Jianren. There was a sea of people inside and outside the Taekwondo club. Fortunately, the Taekwondo club was a big club and occupied an old gymnasium. After the new gymnasium was built, it was set aside for club activities. However, some of the best places in the gymnasium had already been occupied by people. These were basically the school officials. For example, the school newspaper, school TV station, school radio station, school website staff. This competition was very sensational, so no one wanted to miss this news. There were also many students who took this opportunity to find a lot of business opportunities. They wholesale some telescopes and small whistles to sell in the gymnasium. It was very popular. Although the competition time was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Ren Jianren came at 1 o'clock. He stood on the stage full of energy. He arrogantly adjusted his Taekwondo suit, waved to the audience under the stage and pretended to smile. Ren Jianren was quite good-looking. He had some female fans in Songjiang Industry University, but there weren't many good-looking ones. They were all ugly. Ren Jianren took the towel handed by Lu Xiaojun and wiped the sweat on his face. Then he asked, why isn't Yang Ming here yet? Is this brat scared? It's only 1:30. It's still early, said Lu Xiaojun. Rin Jianren nodded and returned the towel to Lu Xiaojun. Then he began to warm up. 10 minutes later Rin Jianren frowned. The time is almost up. Why isn't Yang Ming here yet? Until 1:30, Rin Jianren couldn't sit still and began to be a little impatient. If Yang Ming didn't come today then he would be a big joke. Although it could be said that Yang Ming was afraid of him and didn't dare to fight, it could also be said that Yang Ming didn't care about him at all. Just when Rin Jianren was annoyed, music suddenly sounded in the gymnasium. This music was the music when Gao Jin appeared in God of Gamblers. Rin Jianren scolded, "What is going on? Who the fuck is doing this?" He thought that someone was playing a prank, but he didn't expect to see Yang Ming walking over here. At this moment Yang Ming was wearing a black suit, a hat and a white scarf around his neck. Just like Su Wenqiang in Shanghai, he waved to the audience and walked to the stage. Damn! Rin Jianren scolded in his heart. What is this guy doing? Does he think that he is negotiating with a gang leader? However, Yang Ming's move was obviously very shocking to the students in the audience, especially the little girls. When Yang Ming appeared, the screams and whistles in the audience continued as if they were welcoming a big shot. Yes, this was the effect that Yang Ming wanted. He just wanted to turn this competition into a farce. This way it would be convenient for his next plan. Chapter 209. Yang Ming stood on the stage like a peerless figure facing the audience. Then he suddenly reached out and took off the hat on his head and threw it to the audience, causing a crazy scramble. Then Yang Ming threw down the scarf and coat. Just as the audience was boiling, Yang Ming suddenly shouted, "There is a loud noise in the sky. I am on the stage." There was a burst of cheers and whistles under the stage. Of course, there were different opinions. Some people were dismissive of Yang Ming's behavior. They thought that he was just putting on a show. But most of the students still thought that Yang Ming's appearance was very gorgeous and unique. It brought a bright spot and novelty to the boring university life. Rin Jianren saw Yang Ming's performance and was almost fuming with anger. What is this guy trying to do? He didn't wait for the fight to make a mess. Rin Jianren said coldly, "Yang Ming, are you done? If you are done, can we start?" Everything is in silence. I will give you a couplet. As Yang Ming said, he turned around and revealed a couplet on his back. It said, "Punch at Nanshan Nursing Home, kick at Beihai Kindergarten." On his butt it said, "Brick-breaking martial arts." It suddenly attracted a burst of sighs and laughter under the stage. Rin Jianren's face turned green after he saw it. It was obvious that he was categorized into the same category as nursing homes and kindergartens, wasn't it? Does it mean that I am not even as good as the old and weak? What brick-breaking martial arts? This is obviously mocking my kung fu for being useless. Just as he was about to refute, he heard Yang Ming speak first. "How do you want to compete?" "How? Of course, it is Taekwondo." Rin Jianren said with dissatisfaction, "Since you are here, don't you know this?" "That's not right." Yang Ming shook his head after he heard it. Rin Jianren was confused. Yang Ming said slowly, "If you are competing in Taekwondo, then I can only surrender." "What do you mean?" Rin Jianren was stunned. "You don't want to compete? Are you going back on your words?" "Oh no. Yang Ming waved his hand and said, "You said we are competing in Taekwondo, but I don't even know the most basic rules of Taekwondo. Isn't it only a loss? It would be better to not compete and just admit defeat. It will not affect everyone's vision. Isn't that right?" "Yeah, he's right. Isn't this bullying? He doesn't even know Taekwondo. How can he compete with you?" "That's right. It's not fair. It's not fair. Let's not compete, it's honorable to win." The people under the stage complained. The few who took the lead were naturally Zhang Bin and Tian Donghua. Including Wang Jitao, he didn't have a good impression of the Taekwondo club. He also mobilized the whole class to support Yang Ming. Sun Jiwei, as Yang Ming's class monitor, originally hated Yang Ming, but now Yang Ming represented not only Yang Ming himself, but also the Computer Science Level 08 Class 2 and even the whole group of freshmen. Therefore he couldn't stop his classmates from cheering for Yang Ming. He had to sit aside and hope that Rin Jianren could teach Yang Ming a lesson. "Then how do you want to compete?" Rin Jianren blushed, but he couldn't say anything. Yang Ming was right. He didn't know Taekwondo. Weren't you using your strength to fight against his weakness? "Let's just fight." Yang Ming said, "It's not limited to the rules." "Kickboxing?" Rin Jianren was stunned and then he thought, "This is good. Then I can use Taekwondo to beat you." Rin Jianren was most afraid that Yang Ming would say something like no taekwondo moves. Then he would be a little bit tied up. Now that there were no rules, he could use his strength. Before, he didn't think that Yang Ming knew taekwondo, so he simply didn't want to ask anything from Yang Ming. Therefore, after Yang Ming said the rules, Rin Jianren felt that it was no different from what he had imagined before, so he nodded and agreed, okay. In this case, I will use taekwondo. You can use whatever moves you want. Rin Jianren's words attracted a sigh from the audience. This was shameless. Use your strength and others can do whatever they want. This was simply a one-sided competition. However, Yang Ming didn't care. He asked casually, I can use any moves? Yes. You can do whatever you want. Rin Jianren thought to himself, you brat, why are you so hesitant? Hurry up and let me beat you up. Okay, then I will use my unique skill. Asked Yang Ming. Fuck. What does it have to do with me if you use your unique skill? Hurry up, are you ready? Rin Jianren asked impatiently. Don't you want to ask me what my unique skill is? Yang Ming continued to speak unhurriedly. You motherfucker. Rin Jianren almost went berserk, but he still held back his patience and said, then what is your unique skill? Yang Ming turned around, then pointed at the couplet behind him and said to Rin Jianren, this is my tactic. Rin Jianren was so angry that his face turned green, and smoke came out of his nostrils. It turned out that this brat deliberately humiliated me. What motherfucker is this about punching Nanshan nursing home and kicking Beihai kindergarten? Do you think I am a nursing home and kindergarten? Motherfucker, watch how I beat you until you cry for your parents. Can we start now? Rin Jianren said coldly. Okay, I am letting you know yourself and your enemy and you will win every battle. Said Yang Ming. I don't need to know myself and my enemy to beat you. As Rin Jianren said this, he got up and prepared to attack. What are you doing? Yang Ming suddenly asked. Didn't the competition start? Rin Jianren was stunned. Wait, I still have to warm up. You have warmed up before, but I haven't warmed up yet. As Yang Ming said this, he began to jump like a boxer. Don't tell me you don't want me to warm up? Do you want to bully me? You are hot. Rin Jianren was about to explode after hearing this. Are you kidding me? So he relaxed his tense nerves and watched Yang Ming warming up. After about 5 or 6 minutes, Yang Ming's head was full of sweat. Rin Jianren finally couldn't help it. Are you done warming up? Done. Yang Ming nodded and stopped warming up. Rin Jianren was about to attack, but he heard Yang Ming say, wait, I just exercised for a long time and sweated a lot. I'm a little cold now. Why are you so troublesome? Rin Jianren said angrily and stopped his attack. Don't tell me you want me to catch a cold? Are you harboring ulterior motives? Do you want to win by hook or by crook? Yang Ming pretended to be surprised and asked. Fuck. Then do what you want to do. Rin Jianren was a little helpless. What is this guy doing? Is he deliberately stalling for time? Where's my coat? Yang Ming looked around the stage. When he went on stage, he threw his coat down. It's here. Zhang Bin took Yang Ming's coat and quickly ran to the stage. Yang Ming took the coat and whispered, is everything ready? Be careful. According to what we said before, the things are in the big left pocket. Zhang Bin nodded and said. Yang Ming put on the coat and then fastened the buttons. He nodded to Rin Jianren and said, you can start. Rin Jianren heaved a sigh of relief. Fuck, you're finally done. Rin Jianren jumped to the center of the field and was ready to attack. But he didn't expect Yang Ming to say, what are you going to do? What do you mean, what am I going to do? Of course, it is a competition. Rin Jianren asked. Before a taekwondo competition, don't both sides have to bow and salute? You are the president of the taekwondo club. You should know this common sense, right? Yang Ming said strangely. Rin Jianren was helpless. He had to stop his attack, but his lungs were about to become a balloon. You little brat, you are playing with me. I want to see how long you can drag it out. I will show you later. Rin Jianren gave Yang Ming a stiff bow and Yang Ming followed him and bowed. Are you okay now? If you are okay, I am going to attack. Rin Jianren didn't dare to attack directly this time, but he asked tentatively. Yang Ming had already messed with him twice the size of his head. And let me think. Yang Ming pretended to be hesitant, but he was laughing in his heart. Seeing that you are a sports student in university, I don't think your studies are that good. But I was a good student in junior high school. There is a text from Zhuozhuan called Chao Gui's debate. There is a very classic sentence in it. The first drum builds up the spirit, the second is weak, the third is exhausted. Looking at you now, you are already exhausted. Chapter 210. In fact, Yang Ming didn't need to do this at all. With the current Yang Ming, even if Ren Jianren's momentum was high, Yang Ming had 100 ways to kill him in an instant. In Yang Ming's view, many of Ren Jianren's tricks were flashy. There were indeed some tricks that could cause harm to people, but they weren't fatal. But Yang Ming was different. What Yang Ming learned from Fang Tian could send Ren Jianren directly to hell with just one move. However, Yang Ming couldn't do this. Killing people in front of everyone, Yang Ming wasn't that badass. So if Yang Ming wanted to win, he couldn't use a killer move. He could only find another way. In terms of a real fight, Yang Ming also knew that he might not be Ren Jianren's opponent. The last time he defeated Lu Zhaojun was purely a fluke. His tricks were completely like a hooligan's, but compared with people who had been systematically trained, it was full of flaws. Yang Ming wasn't sure whether he could win, so he had to create some things to disturb Ren Jianren's footsteps. Now it seemed that his purpose had been achieved. Ren Jianren was very impatient, but he didn't dare to make a move quickly. Well then, let's start. Yang Ming nodded and said, "Are you sure you've done all those stupid things?" Ren Jianren was afraid of Yang Ming. He asked again worriedly. "I've done all of them. There's nothing else," Yang Ming said with certainty. "Really?" Ren Jianren was afraid that Yang Ming was cheating, so he had to confirm it. "I say, are you wasting time? A real man should do things straightforwardly. Why are you so wishy-washy?" Yang Ming waved his hand and said, "Fuck." Ren Jianren felt that he was going to shine in the sun and create purple smoke. "I'm wasting time? You actually said I'm wasting time?" "Humph." Ren Jianren snorted and began to attack. He didn't know Yang Ming's strength, so he first tested it with a kick. Regarding Ren Jianren's probing, Yang Ming didn't take it to heart and dodged it easily. However, he didn't take any offense because he knew that Taekwondo not only had offensive moves, but also defensive moves. Now that the enemy's strength was very strong, it was difficult to guarantee that he wouldn't use any flaws when he attacked. After a few punches and kicks, Ren Jianren saw that Yang Ming didn't attack except to dodge. Jianren was anxious. At this time there were a lot of doubts. "This is Taekwondo? It's nothing. Yeah, there is nothing special. I think it's just showy but impractical." To Yang, to hear, to Yang, to him, to hear, to suddenly, to say, to him, to himself, to see him set off. To him, to hear, to. Careful. What? Ren Jianren was stunned, but when he saw that Yang Ming didn't move, he thought that he was tricked by Yang Ming. Just as he was about to continue to attack, he suddenly saw a huge brick in Yang Ming's hand. He didn't know when it appeared, but he suddenly saw a huge brick in Yang Ming's hand. Pa! With a loud explosion, Ren Jianren fell down with blood all over his face. Hee, idiot, I told you I was going to use my ultimate move. Do you think you are the successor of the Golden Bell Shield? Yang Ming threw the brick to the side and laughed disdainfully. The people in the audience were stunned for a long time before they realized that the winner of this match had been decided. They couldn't help but sigh. Immediately, some people criticized Yang Ming's move was simply rogue. How could he bring a brick to the stage? However, the voices of opposition were overwhelming. Yang Ming said before that his tactic was the brick-breaking martial art. How could he be considered a scoundrel when he had already stated his strategy in advance? This is the performance of his noble character. He won openly. Yes, and I saw it just now. Yang Ming had already reminded him before he made the move. He said that he was going to use his ultimate move, but Ren Jianren didn't listen. Who can he blame? He reminded you. You deserved to lose. I think Yang Ming is smart. He fought Ren Jianren with his wits. He didn't practice Taekwondo. He is definitely not Ren Jianren's opponent, so he can only win with his wits. With these leading voices of opposition, everyone immediately stood on Yang Ming's side. Because what he said was reasonable. It was indeed the case. So the poor Ren Jianren not only lay on the ground with a bloody head, but also had to endure everyone's sarcastic remarks. There was not even a word of sympathy. At this point, Yang Ming also breathed a sigh of relief. Seems that the plan is perfect. Since the incident where Wang Jitao framed him, Yang Ming had matured a lot and considered the problem more thoroughly. It wasn't enough to blindly rely on brute force. Many times, intelligence was the key to victory. So, In this competition, Yang Ming and Zhang Bin planned for a long time and finally came up with such a farce of the brick-breaking martial art. The previous appearance seemed to be a claptrap, but it was actually a very crucial step. First, it could pave the way for some of the later things. The beginning was a farce, so it wasn't abrupt to stage a farce like the brick-breaking martial art. From a psychological point of view, it was easy for everyone to accept. Second, and the most important point, was to let Zhang Bin put a prepared brick in the pocket of the shirt that he threw down. When Yang Ming warmed up, he could say that he felt cold after sweating and put it on again. So there was the farce of Yang Ming's warm-up and the couplet on his body. The couplet on the body was also crucial. If there was no couplet, everyone might think that Yang Ming's moves were too vulgar. But now, Yang Ming had told the opponent before the game that his killing move and tactics were the brick-breaking martial art. So if he hit the opponent with the brick, it was called fair and square. Therefore, these seemingly messy little farces were actually closely linked. Every single one of them was extremely important and not a single one could be missing. Yang Ming was like a victorious king standing on the stage and waving to everyone. Since it was a farce, there naturally had to be an end. It was best to have a beginning and an end. So, when Yang Ming waved, the god of gamblers, Gao Jin, played the song when he won the World King of Gamblers tournament in the stadium. Wow. It's so cool. Many female students under the stage cast an excited look at Yang Ming. Thank you. Yang Ming waved and said to the people under the stage, "Thank you for your support. It's not that I'm too strong, it's that the opponent is too weak. Don't worship me too much." Qin Mengyan under the stage glared at Yang Ming. Isn't he too arrogant? However, when Yang Ming won, Qin Mengyan was relieved. As a matter of fact, her heart was in her throat just now. In contrast, on the other side of the stadium, a girl was so calm from the beginning to the end. "Jia, why aren't you worried? Aren't you afraid that Yang Ming will lose?" Wang Shui asked curiously. "He won't lose." Zhou Jia smiled faintly. "Yang Ming is a person who doesn't admit defeat. You know him so well?" Wang Shui asked with a smile. "Maybe, or maybe he has changed." Zhou Jia shook her head. "He has changed. That's great, you can finally forget about him, right?" Wang Shui seemed to be relieved. "No, I mean he has become more attractive to me." Zhou Jia rolled her eyes at Wang Shui. Wang Shui shook her head in disbelief. Yang Ming wanted to leave, but suddenly a group of people with notepads, microphones, digital cameras and even video cameras swarmed up. "Hello Yang Ming, I'm from the school's TV station. Can I interview you?" "I'm from the school newspaper." "I'm from the campus radio station." "Wait, the interview is fine, but you have to do it one by one." Zhang Bin protected Yang Ming, acting like a bodyguard and agent. Yang Ming was a little amused. Zhang Bin was quite funny. There was no such plan in advance, but he could adapt to the situation. In fact, Zhang Bin saw Yang Ming beat Ren Jianren, so he vented his anger in his heart. He also used Yang Ming's reputation to show off, so he was so proactive. Now let's start answering the reporters' questions. Everyone line up and ask one by one. Each person can only ask 2 questions. "Mr. Yang's time is limited, please understand," Zhang Bin said in a very arrogant manner. These reporters were a little amused when they heard it, but they couldn't show it. Yang Ming was a big news, so they had to interview him. Thinking of the task given to them by their station head, president and station master, these student reporters had to line up properly and interview Yang Ming one by one. "Student Yang Ming, how did you come up with this method to deal with Ren Jianren?" Reporter A couldn't wait to ask. In fact, Reporter A's question was also what everyone wanted to ask, so they also took out their notebooks and recording pens and waited attentively for Yang Ming to answer. Chapter 211. In fact, this is very simple. Brick-breaking martial arts? This is an old saying from. Anyway, it came from the mouth of an ancient celebrity. So, I am doing this to promote Chinese traditional and ancient culture. Yang Ming boasted shamelessly. Brick-breaking martial arts is actually an internet catchphrase which has only been around for a few years. But these reporters didn't care so much. They just recorded what Yang Ming said. As for whether to edit it or not, it was someone else's business. They were only responsible for the interview. "Student Yang Ming, did you think that you could defeat the president of the Taekwondo club before? Why do you have so much courage?" Reporter B asked. Do you still need to ask? I have already said that it's not that I am too strong, it's that my opponent is too weak. So, it's natural for him to be defeated by me. Yang Ming said. "Student Yang Ming, Aren't you afraid that they will continue to challenge you afterwards? Reporter C asked. What am I afraid of? I'm not afraid of boasting. Even if they train for another 10 years. Their heads aren't a match for the brick. Yang Ming laughed. The reporters were speechless. Isn't this nonsense? How can the head be a match for the brick? Not to mention 10 years of training. Even if they train for 20 years, they will be lying on the ground after being hit by the brick. They asked Yang Ming some more questions. Yang Ming made up a bunch of nonsense and didn't say anything useful. But everyone also returned from a rewarding journey. This kind of gossip news didn't need much authenticity. Everyone was just watching for fun. Recently, our novel's female lead, Little Mengyan, has been troubled by something. Especially when she saw the relationship between Zhao Cixi and Zhang Bin improve by leaps and bounds. The two of them were about to be together. Qin Mengyan was very upset. Until one day, Zhao Cixi blushed and told Qin Mengyan that Zhang Bin was going to treat her to Western food in the evening, but it seemed like she was going to spend the night outside. Zhao Cixi couldn't decide whether to go or not, so she looked for Qin Mengyan to discuss it. Qin Mengyan couldn't say anything about this kind of thing. She just reminded her. Anyway, in the end the girl would be the one to suffer. He had to think carefully. If she really planned to be with Zhang Bin in the future, then it wouldn't hurt to go. Thus, Little Mengyan's worries arose. When the two of them were in their third year of high school, although she had not established a relationship with Yang Ming kept making moves on her. He even asked her to help him solve that problem. And after that he even wanted to invite her to his house. But now, after going to college, although she had established a relationship with Yang Ming and their relationship had improved, the physical language was much less. Qin Mengyan was not the kind of girl who was casual, but she could still accept the intimacy between lovers. She also looked forward to it. According to Zhao Cixi, Zhang Bin had already kissed her when they were watching a movie. Qin Mengyan asked Zhao Cixi what it felt like to kiss. Zhao Cixi said strangely, it felt very strange. Mengyan, it's not like you and Yang Ming haven't kissed before. Why are you asking me? Qin Mengyan could only smile bitterly. She and Yang Ming had not even kissed before. Although Qin Mengyan had always kept her chastity, now that she had decided to be Yang Ming's girlfriend, it meant that she had completely accepted Yang Ming physically and mentally. Qin Mengyan was not an antique. She did not reject the passionate kiss between lovers, but Yang Ming did not cross the line. Qin Mengyan as a girl couldn't be too proactive, right? Now Qin Mengyan heard that Zhao Cixi and Zhang Bin had developed to the point where they were going to get a room. How could she not be disappointed? In fact, she had been with Yang Ming longer than them, but now, there seemed to be no substantial progress between the two of them. In fact, I also like Zhang Bin very much. He also said that he would marry me in the future. Zhao Cixi said very seriously, moreover, I have also seen his father. His father is still very satisfied with me. I think that for this kind of thing, it doesn't matter whether it is earlier or later. Moreover, we have already seen each other naked, but we haven't reached the last step. After listening to Zhao Cixi's words, Qin Mengyan felt even more uncomfortable. Is my body so unattractive to Yang Ming? Qin Mengyan was not a fool. She could usually see what other people did when they were in love on some forums. Even if the two people did not have the last step of the relationship, they usually kissed and hugged. But now Yang Ming was like a pervert in high school who suddenly became a gentleman. How could Qin Mengyan not be worried? After Zhao Cixi left, Qin Mengyan was absent-minded on the internet. She looked at similar relationship posts in the Maopu community. Men are all lustful animals. They all have needs. If your husband or boyfriend is always respectful to you, then you have to be careful. He may have an affair. Looking at the content of the post, Qin Mengyan had a headache. She frowned and turned off the web page and computer. Then she decided to get up and take a walk on campus to calm down by herself. In the dormitory, Yang Ming was helping Zhang Bin with his hair. Yang Ming, what do you think of my hairstyle? Zhang Bin looked in the mirror and fiddled with it from time to time. It's not bad, but I say it's not the first time you went on a date with Zhao Cixi. Do you need to do this? Yang Ming asked puzzledly. Today's meaning is different. It's very likely that I will take Zhao Cixi down in one fell swoop. Zhang Bin said with a sly smile. Damn, one fell swoop. Don't get impotent by then. Yang Ming scolded. Ah, that's impossible. I even have Viagra ready. Zhang Bin said, do you want me to give you some? Damn, I don't need it. I'm born strong. What Yang Ming said was the truth. The time he spent with Lan Ling was getting longer and longer. This was an incredible thing. Theoretically speaking, the amount of time each person could persist in making love with the same partner was basically fixed, and there would not be too much of a difference. But Yang Ming was doing it for longer and longer. For this, Yang Ming deliberately looked up on the internet. He did not find any similar examples, so he could only give up. After Zhang Bin left, Yang Ming was bored, so he wanted to call Qin Mengyan and ask her what she was doing. Yang Ming felt that he and Qin Mengyan should go further. The reason why Yang Ming didn't ask Qin Mengyan for anything was because of Lan Ling. Secondly, he was repeatedly rejected in the association. He didn't want Qin Mengyan to think that he was with her for those things. So, other than holding hands, there was no progress. Just as he wanted to call Qin Mengyan, his phone rang. Yang Ming picked it up and looked. It was actually Lan Ling calling. Could it be that this little girl wants it again? Yang Ming just went to her place yesterday. Oh. Lan Ling, what's the matter? Yang Ming picked up the phone. There was a silence on the other side, and then Lan Ling's voice came over. Yang Ming, Lan Ling, what's wrong with you? Yang Ming was stunned. Lan Ling, who was always happy, why did her voice sound so sad today? Yang Ming, are you free? Lan Ling asked faintly. Yes, what's the matter? Yang Ming asked in a hurry. Can you accompany me for a walk? I miss you. Lan Ling hesitated and said. Hey, I'll go find you. Yang Ming felt that something was wrong with Lan Ling, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. And I'll wait for you at the entrance of the community. Lan Ling whispered. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming quickly ran to the family area of Songjiang Industry University. His intuition told him that Lan Ling must have encountered something. Yang Ming's dormitory wasn't far from the family area. Plus, he ran there, so when Lan Ling arrived, he arrived too. Ling Ling, what's wrong with you today? Why are you acting weird? After seeing Lan Ling, Yang Ming quickly asked. Yang Ming. When Lan Ling saw Yang Ming, her eyes turned red. She directly jumped into Yang Ming's arms. Her tears fell. Yang Ming. I don't want to leave you. What's wrong, Ling Ling? Who asked you to leave? Yang Ming patted Lan Ling's shoulder and comforted her. You're my baby. How can I let you leave? We have to be together forever. Yang Ming. I won't be able to see you again. I don't want to leave. Lan Ling cried and said intermittently. At the same time, Lan Ling wasn't the only one who cried for Yang Ming. Qin Mengyan wasn't in a good mood. When she saw the intimate couples on campus, she felt irritated, so she strolled to the family area. That area was full of activities for teachers. Relatively speaking, there weren't many couples. However, when she passed by the school's residential area, she saw a figure that she couldn't be more familiar with. Chapter 212. Qin Mengyan was stunned on the spot as if she was struck by lightning. She couldn't stop her tears from flowing. All of a sudden, all the grievances and sadness came to her heart. It turned out that the reason why he treated me like this was because he had another woman. He had a replacement. It turned out that the post on the internet was right. Qin Mengyan only felt that the world was spinning. The surrounding scenery seemed to have lost its color in an instant. Only she was left standing there alone, watching her sweetheart leave her. But since he had another woman, why did he still want to be with me? Could it be that all those sweet nothings he said to her were all fake? Qin Mengyan couldn't imagine. Ling Ling, what are you talking about? Yang Ming was a little puzzled. Why did she suddenly cry and say that she didn't want to go when she was still fine yesterday? Yang Ming. I have to leave for a while. Lan Ling said with a choked voice. Leave for a while. What's going on? Can you explain it clearly? Yang Ming was also a little anxious. Lan Ling let go of her hands that were hugging Yang Ming, then wiped her tears and said, Let's go. Walk with me. I'll tell you as we walk. Yang Ming nodded and held Lan Ling's hand. Okay. The two people walked slowly into the distance. No one noticed that not far behind them there was a dazed girl. Ling Ling, what's going on? You cried when you saw me. I don't know what to do. Yang Ming saw that Lan Ling had calmed down and asked. Yang Ming. My grandmother came to find me. When Lan Ling said the two words grandmother, a faint smile suddenly appeared on her tear-stained face. Yang Ming was stunned. Wasn't Lan Ling's grandmother missing? Why did she appear again? But he still congratulated her. Really? That's great. You finally met your grandmother. Didn't you miss her very much? I saw my grandmother. I am very happy. She is still alive and very healthy. Lan Ling nodded and said, "That's a good thing. Why are you crying?" Yang Ming felt a little strange. "But, Grandma wants to take me away." Lan Ling's voice changed. Tears were about to fall again. "She wants to take you away? Why? Could it be that your grandmother doesn't like you being with me? Do you want to separate us?" Yang Ming was shocked. If Lan Ling's grandmother didn't agree, the matter between him and Lan Ling would be difficult. "No, Grandma actually came a long time ago. She has been secretly observing you for a while." Lan Ling blushed and said, "She knows about our matters." Lan Ling blushed because she had sex with Yang Ming. It was embarrassing enough for her grandmother to find out about this. "Then what did Grandma say about me?" Yang Ming called her Grandma directly to show closeness. "Grandma said that you're not bad. She's satisfied with you, but..." Lan Ling paused. "Grandma told me about what you usually do." Yang Ming was shocked. "It can't be right. Does this mean that Lan Ling knows about the matter between me and Chen Mengyan?" Yang Ming looked at Lan Ling in shock. His expression was very complicated. "Is it because of this that Lan Ling left me? Why do you have this expression?" Lan Ling saw Yang Ming's strange expression and finally smiled. "Actually, I already knew something, but I didn't say it. That couple t-shirt, you bought 2 sets, right?" But Yang Ming's footsteps were weak and he almost fell to the ground. He looked at Lan Ling in surprise. "You know about it?" Lan Ling nodded gently. "Originally, I didn't plan to say it. You're good to me. Why should I care so much? Now that I have to leave, there are some things that I have to tell you. Actually..." Yang Ming was a bit embarrassed. It turned out that buying the couple t-shirt last time was just adding fuel to the fire. Lan Ling knew everything. "I know. You and her were together in high school. I was the one who got together later." Lan Ling saw Yang Ming's expression and smiled sweetly. "When I leave, you can be with her." "Ling Ling, what are you talking about? I won't let you go." Yang Ming thought that Lan Ling deliberately said it out of anger and was shocked. "Yang Ming, actually, Grandma took me away this time to teach me some skills." Lan Ling explained, "After I learn the skills, I will still come back. Don't worry." "Teach you skills? What's the matter?" Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Lan Ling left for other important things. "And Grandma is going to teach me her skills." Lan Ling said, "You may also know that voodoo is a very mysterious knowledge. It is particularly complicated to learn. It requires a specific environment and materials, so I have to go back to Yunnan with Grandma." "I see." Yang Ming heard that it was a serious matter, so he didn't stop it. "When can you come back?" "It's hard to say. I will do it as soon as possible. Grandma said that it will be a year if it is fast, 3 or 4 years if it is slow." Lan Ling said, "It depends on my ability to understand. I believe that my Ling Ling is the best." Yang Ming comforted. "I will work hard." Lan Ling nodded. "I will leave tomorrow. Tonight, accompany me for the last time." Body language trumped all communication. The two people were entangled and intertwined on the bed. "Until dawn, Yang Ming, I have asked Grandma about the voodoo." Lan Ling lay in Yang Ming's arms and said quietly. And Yang Ming hugged Lan Ling and responded softly. "What's wrong? Aren't you very concerned about this? Why don't you ask me?" Lan Ling was a little puzzled. "At this moment, I am more concerned about you." Yang Ming was telling the truth. He didn't care about the voodoo anymore. Lan Ling was touched. She was more determined to tell Yang Ming the truth. "Yang Ming, let me tell you something. Actually, the voodoo won't stop you from liking other girls." "What do you mean?" Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't understand what Lan Ling meant. "It means that as long as you have me in your heart, it will be fine." Lan Ling said slowly, "As long as you love me, the voodoo won't act up." Lan Ling hesitated for a moment but still told him the truth. Firstly, she was touched by Yang Ming's love for her. Secondly, she was going to leave soon. She was afraid that Yang Ming would be sad. If there were other girls by his side, it might lessen his pain. Lan Ling had experienced the pain of separation. She didn't want Yang Ming to be in the same pain as her. "That means, as long as I have you in my heart and always love you, it won't be considered betraying you?" Yang Ming asked in surprise. Lan Ling nodded and said, "Don't be too proud. If you dare to forget me while I am gone, you will die a horrible death." Lan Ling said to scare Yang Ming. "How could I forget you?" Yang Ming was delighted to hear this news. The knot in his heart was finally untied. However, this was only for a moment. What followed was a strong sense of sorrow. So, this is what the voodoo is all about. No wonder Yang Ming liked Qin Mengyan and had sex with Sun Jia, but it didn't trigger the voodoo. The reason was that Yang Ming still loved Lan Ling in his heart. Yang Ming, there is one more thing. Lan Ling clenched her teeth and decided to tell Yang Ming. Yang Ming, I'm sorry. Grandmother said that this voodoo is very special. She can't remove it, because this voodoo was passed to my mother by a master. It is used to deal with unfaithful men. Ling Ling, why are you apologizing? This voodoo makes no difference to me. Even without the voodoo, I will still love you for a lifetime. Yang Ming said firmly. No, grandmother said that my voodoo is different from other voodoo. It has a side effect. Lan Ling shook her head and sighed. Side effect? Yang Ming was shocked. Can't be, right? There is a side effect. Listening to Lan Ling's tone, it doesn't seem right. Is this side effect very serious? However, he was afraid that Lan Ling would be sad, so he pretended to be indifferent and said, What side effect? I don't feel that there is anything wrong with me. My body is great. Everything I eat is delicious. Heh. Lan Ling laughed at Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming, don't you feel it? There are some changes in your body. No. Yang Ming felt a bit strange. I don't have any changes, right? I still have 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 ears, and 2 legs. Chapter 213. A person who is inflicted with this voodoo will have an increase in that aspect, and will need more. Lan Ling said with a red face. Yang Ming was shocked by Lan Ling's words. Can't be, right? There's an increase in that aspect? That's a good thing. I was wondering why my ability improved so much recently. I thought it was because of my training and kicking the tree every morning. I didn't expect it to be because of the voodoo. What's wrong with that? Hehe, in the end, didn't you enjoy it too? Yang Ming laughed. He thought in his heart, it seems that my goal of having multiple wives and concubines is going to be realized. Yang Ming was a very realistic person. He never idealized his life. Although he occasionally read some YY novels, he also yearned for the life of the male lead. But yearning was just yearning. Yang Ming didn't think that it was easy for a man to have multiple wives. First of all, the coexistence of the wives was a big problem. Girls nowadays have their own opinions. Who would be stupid enough to share their husband with others? Of course, mistresses and mistresses were an exception. Yang Ming didn't want such a relationship. He thought that feelings were the key when a man and a woman were together. It was only fun when the woman fell in love with him. Secondly, there was the problem of harmony in bed. When a man had multiple wives, he couldn't take care of every single one of them. Even if he took care of every single one of them, Yang Ming still had to travel between his wives every day. There was a saying that men were cows and women were land. There was no land that was plowed, only cows that died of exhaustion. The more the cow plowed, the thinner the land was. A good fire required charcoal, a good woman required a man. A man wanted sex, but he wanted his life. That was why he cherished his life and stayed away from his wives and concubines. Yang Ming didn't want to age prematurely and become a soft-footed shrimp. It seemed that this voodoo solved a crucial problem. I thought this voodoo was annoying. I didn't expect it to be such a good thing. But, you didn't understand. Lan Ling shook her head. Didn't you realize? I can't satisfy you anymore. I can only barely cope in the end. Could it be because of this reason that this little lowly allowed him to hook up with another wife and bring her back? Looks like it's quite possible. What's with that expression? What I said is the truth. Lan Ling looked at Yang Ming's strange expression and was somewhat baffled. It's okay. You can continue. Yang Ming said quickly. Actually, this is the effect of this voodoo. It's actually very evil. The person who is inflicted with this voodoo will have an increased ability in that area. This way, it's naturally difficult for one woman to satisfy his needs, so he has no choice but to look for other women. Grandma said that many men are animals who like the new and hate the old. Once they have a new love, they will forget about the old. At this time, the heart voodoo will activate. Lan Ling explained. When Yang Ming heard this, he was secretly alarmed and said, It can't be. According to what you're saying, isn't this heart voodoo specifically used to harm people? It's not used to punish a heartless man, it's used to force a man to be heartless. Lan Ling nodded gently. You can say that. So I'm sorry, Yang Ming. I didn't mean to harm you. I didn't know the truth before. Forget it. It's nothing. Yang Ming waved his hand and thought to himself, fortunately, I'm the kind of person who likes the new and doesn't hate the old. I'm a new generation of good men who loves the old even more when I have a new love. But if that's the case, isn't your mother harming you? Actually, my mother's life is very tragic. Lan Ling shook her head and sighed. That year my mother saw that my father was addicted to gambling and was very disappointed in him. So she asked a master to teach her the voodoo method. She wanted to use this to punish my father, but in the end she couldn't do it. Deep in her heart she still loved my father. Grandma said that this is the tragedy of us women. Obviously you hate a person very much, but in the end, you realize that the person you can't let go of the most is still him. Although my mother loved my father, she had already lost confidence in men. So she didn't want me to follow her old path, so she buried the voodoo in me. What? Yang Ming was stunned and said with some anger, how can a mother be like this? She did this to harm you, didn't she? How can a mother harm her own child? Did she ever think that if you found your true love in the future but because of this voodoo, then wouldn't she have harmed you personally? Yang Ming, don't scold my mother. She was a bit extreme in the past. She was too stubborn. Lan Ling shook her head and smiled. But God let me meet you. Why else would people say that everything is fated? That's right. A good man like me who likes the new and doesn't hate the old is rare in the new era. Yang Ming boasted and nodded. You're really not shy. Lan Ling said coldly, if it wasn't because of this voodoo, do you think I would be so indulgent with you? Hee hee. Yang Ming was so happy in his heart. What is a blessing in disguise? I'm a typical example. Thinking back to my life experience, many things were a blessing in disguise. I entered the detention center, but I met the king of assassins, Fong Tian. Ah, heavens, just give me more trouble. Yang Ming couldn't help but start to fantasize again. In fact, Yang Ming didn't need to fantasize. He was already in trouble and was on the verge of death. Qin Mengyan didn't know how she stumbled back to the dormitory. Once she entered the dormitory, she fell on her bed. When are you leaving? As the sky gradually became clear, Yang Ming had to face the problem of Lan Ling's departure. In the morning, my grandmother will come to pick me up, Lan Ling said with some sadness. Do you want me to send you? Asked Yang Ming. No need. I'm afraid I can't bear to leave. Lan Ling shook her head. It's still early. Sleep for a while. Both of you didn't sleep last night. Yang Ming hugged Lan Ling tightly. You hug me to sleep. Lan Ling snuggled into Yang Ming's arms again. The high-intensity exercise just now made Yang Ming a little tired. In a daze, Yang Ming gradually fell asleep. When he woke up, he found that Lan Ling was no longer beside him. He didn't know when Lan Ling had quietly left. There was only a letter beside the pillow. It should be left by Lan Ling. Yang Ming slowly opened the letter. There were obvious traces of tears on it. Some of them were even not completely dry. It seemed that Lan Ling didn't leave for long. But Yang Ming wasn't going to go out to look for it. This was because it was meaningless. This time Lan Ling was going back with her grandmother because she had something serious to do. Yang Ming couldn't interfere. He couldn't interfere. After all, reason trumped everything. Husband, I didn't call you that, but in my heart, I have already regarded you as my husband. Looking at your smiling face, I couldn't bear to wake you up. I'm leaving. Don't miss me too much. I will be back soon. Ling Ling only hopes that you won't forget me when I'm away. Love, Ling Ling. The letter was short, but the lines were full of Lan Ling's affection. Yang Ming carefully put away the letter and got up from the bed. Lan Ling didn't take most of the things she bought in Songjiang. She only took some clothes. But the laptop was taken away by Lan Ling. Yang Ming smiled faintly. It seemed that this little loli would definitely contact me. Previously, Yang Ming had already applied for a QQ number for Lan Ling so that it was convenient for them to contact each other. Yang Ming simply cleaned up the house, locked the door and left. It seemed that he couldn't come here for a while. Although he woke up late today, Yang Ming still didn't want to give up training. It was just that today's time was a little shorter. After eating breakfast in the cafeteria, he returned to the dormitory. He saw Tian Donghua brushing his teeth, so he asked, "Where is Zhang Bin?" Fuck, both of you fucking lost your humanity with the opposite sex. You left me alone in an empty room. Tian Donghua threw a resentful look at Yang Ming. But Yang Ming looked at him with disgust. You little brat, isn't it easy to find a girl? Isn't there a prostitute in the Golden Sea Bath not far from the school? AI. Bitches are heartless, actors are unrighteous. I'm looking forward to you and Zhangbin. You can find such a good girlfriend. Tian Donghua sighed. Could it be that I don't get the attention of girls? You are always in the dormitory playing computer games. Who would pay attention to you? Yang Ming laughed and said, It has been so long since school started. How many classes have you attended? That's true. Go. I will accompany you to class. Tian Donghua said. Fuck, you are a sophomore. Why are you mixing with me, a freshman? Yang Ming was stunned. Chapter 214. My class is full of idiots. I don't want to bother with them. Tian Donghua said. Then let's go, but let me tell you in advance. The quality of the pretty girls in our class is very bad. Yang Ming reminded him. It doesn't matter. I'll just go out and get some fresh air. Tian Donghua said. Yang Ming was now a celebrity. People would pay attention to him wherever he went. Look, isn't that Yang Ming? He's the ruthless person in the brick-breaking martial arts. Although the competition was held among the people, it still attracted the attention of the school because of its degree of sensation. Fortunately, the two parties kept silent afterward. No matter whether they won or lost, they didn't cause any other trouble. Naturally, the school couldn't intervene. After all, it was now a university. The school had to keep some autonomy for the students. Although the martial arts competition was somewhat shocking, it was just a friendly competition. The school found the Taekwondo club afterward and warned them not to cause any more trouble. Rin Jianren couldn't not listen to the school. No matter how badass he wasn't badass enough to go against the school. It was much easier to expel students from university than junior high school. Junior high school had 9 years of compulsory education. The school could only persuade but not expel. But university was different. Who would educate you? If you didn't perform well, you would get out quickly. Otherwise, according to Rin Jianren's character, it was impossible to let go of Yang Ming so easily. But it was also thanks to the intervention of the school. Otherwise, he would be rushing to his death. Yang Ming had always been a maverick. He rarely talked to the students in the class. Every time he sat in the last row, so no one paid much attention to him. Although the martial arts competition with Rin Jianren made Yang Ming popular, these students who were closest to Yang Ming were also the fastest to get over the novelty. In 2 days they returned to normal. Those who didn't know Yang Ming were full of curiosity about him. Tian Donghua sat next to Yang Ming. Not many people paid attention. Yang Ming took out a university physics book and put it on the table. Although it was a computer science department, physics was a compulsory course. Damn, you lied to me. Tian Donghua suddenly said, Isn't that Zhou Jiajia? Yang Ming raised his head and followed Tian Donghua's gaze. Sure enough, Zhou Jiajia and Wang Shui were sitting not far away. The two girls were whispering something. Yang Ming said indifferently, Yes, what's wrong? Class 1. Isn't this a beauty? You actually told me that there are no beauties in the class. What are your intentions? Tian Donghua said discontentedly, This is a school belle-level beauty. Really? Yang Ming asked. Is Zhou Jiajia very beautiful? Perhaps. Although it had been so many years and Yang Ming didn't hate Zhou Jiajia so much in his heart, the grudge between them hadn't been resolved yet. What do you mean by that? That's right. Tian Donghua said disdainfully, You wouldn't want to keep it for yourself to enjoy. By the way, I remember now. At that time there was an uproar on the internet. They said that the reason why you had a feud with the Taekwondo club was because of Zhou Jiajia. Turned out to be like this. I understand now. There must be something going on between you two. Big brother, isn't your analytical ability too strong? If you were a detective, how many unjust and false cases would you create? Yang Ming rolled his eyes. You are simply a copy of Maori Kagoro. You don't have to hurt me like this, right? Tian Donghua said with a smile, I just said a fact. Alright, Zhou Jiajia is yours. I know it well. I won't talk about this anymore. Yang Ming shook his head helplessly. He knew that the more he explained, the more he wouldn't understand. It was better to keep silent. What? You don't want to talk about it now? Tian Donghua saw that Yang Ming was silent and continued, You don't have to worry. You can't covet your friend's wife. I won't have any bad thoughts about her. Yang Ming was completely speechless. I can't be silent. Tian Donghua and Yang Ming hit it off very well. He also changed his young master style because he knew that this was the only way to get a true friendship in university. If he always had an overbearing look, he would definitely be hated. Speak of the devil and he will appear. Sun Jiwei came over with an arrogant look. Yongming, this Saturday is Songjiang's 5 Disciplines and 4 Beauties Day. The school and the city administration jointly organized a promotional activity. Each class selected a few student representatives to go to the train station to promote the 5 Disciplines and 4 Beauties. After the class committee decided you have a spot. Promotion? Isn't that doing hard work? Yongming wasn't the kind of hot-blooded youth. He wasn't interested in these things. Perhaps some people would say that Yongming didn't have social ethics, but in fact Yongming wasn't a good student. He was just a hooligan. When he was fooling around in the streets in junior high, it was good enough that he didn't destroy public property. What about the 5 Disciplines and 4 Beauties? I'm not going. Yongming said faintly, there's no time. This spot should be given to other students. Not going? Why don't you go? This is the decision of the class committee. Sun Jiwei was a little unwilling. How could a small citizen like you refute the decision of the class committee? This thing should be voluntary, right? Tian Donghua interrupted. Sun Jiwei looked at Tian Donghua carefully and snorted. I was wondering who it was. It turned out to be the young master of the Tian family. Tian Donghua listened to Sun Jiwei's words and his face changed. He didn't look at Sun Jiwei carefully. Now that he looked carefully he was a little surprised. Why did this kid come to Songjiang Industry University? It turned out to be young Master Sunday. Sorry for the disrespect. Although Tian Donghua said so, he looked down on Sun Jiwei in his heart. He was just a second generation. I have heard that the young master of the Tian family committed a crime and ran away. I didn't expect to see you here. Sun Jiwei sneered. You still intend to care about this matter? Some people are so capable, right? You are obviously a servant, but you dare to show your fangs in front of the master? Tian Donghua clenched his teeth and was very angry. Isn't this Sun Jiwei a bit too sarcastic? However, I can't fall out with him, so I have to lower my head with a sullen face. Although Yongming didn't know the relationship between Tian Donghua and Sun Jiwei, it seemed that the two people must have known each other for a long time. The current situation was that Tian Donghua was still a little afraid of Sun Jiwei. This couldn't help but make Yongming a little surprised. What is the origin of this Sun Jiwei? But no matter what the origin was, Yongming didn't care about him now. He glanced at Sun Jiwei and didn't want to waste time with him. He said directly, I won't go. You can do whatever you want. Sun Jiwei didn't expect Yongming to refuse so simply. But you have a good plan and I have a way. Sun Jiwei sneered. I have reported the name list to Instructor Xie. He has reported the name list to the school. If you don't want to go, you can talk to him yourself. After that, Sun Jiwei turned and left. There was a smirk at the corner of his mouth. Little guy, can't I deal with you? You just wait and see how I will trick you in the future. In the future I will push this kind of rubbish to you. Motherfucker, are you deliberately going against me? Yongming was a little annoyed. However, since it had already been reported to the instructor, Yongming wouldn't really argue with the instructor. It wasn't worth it. Forget it. Publicity is publicity. But Sun Jiwei, right? You have to be careful in the future. It's dark outside and the road is slippery. It's easy to be robbed. After Sun Jiwei left, Yongming looked at Tian Donghua and asked, You called him young master Sun? Yes. Tian Donghua smiled bitterly. Sun Jiwei, I didn't expect it to be him. What happened? Yongming asked, Is his family very powerful? His family is also in Donghai City. Can't be described as powerful. It's very powerful. Tian Donghua sighed. I can't mess with this person. You better not provoke him in the future. Yongming frowned. I can't be so unlucky, right? Wang Jitao hasn't been dealt with yet, and now there's another badass character? However, Donghai City is still a distance from Songjiang City. His family can't reach so far. Otherwise, it's impossible that I haven't heard of it. In this case, I won't go to Donghai City for the time being. Sun Jiwei can't do anything to me. Are you thinking that his family has power in Donghai City and no power in Songjiang? Tian Donghua saw through Yongming's thoughts. Isn't that so? Asked Yongming. This is not bad. The Sun family does have a branch in Songjiang, but it's not as powerful as in Donghai. It was only established in recent years. However, Sun Jiwei is a narrow-minded person. Do you see it? He will trick you on such a small matter. You can't stand it. Tian Donghua reminded. It's okay. I'll just go out and train. Yang Ming wasn't afraid of this kind of revenge on campus. As long as he didn't use social relations, Yang Ming wasn't afraid. Yang Ming was now much more mature than before. If Wang Jitao wanted to trick him again, it wouldn't be so easy. Moreover, Yang Ming's identity wasn't ordinary now. If you really annoyed him, he could just kill you directly. Chapter 215. Yang Ming wasn't just learning killing techniques from Fong Tian. What he was learning now was how to cover up the scene after killing someone and how to deal with the body. This was also a very important knowledge. After killing someone, the corresponding cover-up not only required high skills, but also a very good psychological quality. What made Yang Ming dumbfounded was that Fong Tian asked Dong Jun to get a lot of dead bodies from somewhere for Yang Ming to learn how to deal with them. It was said that these were from a medical university in another place. In addition to using the corpse powder, there were many ways to deal with the body. The corpse powder was used as a last resort. According to Fong Tian, the corpse powder was very precious and rare. Moreover, it wasn't something that he could make. This corpse powder is from your ancestor, who is also my master. He was indebted to an elder of the Miao tribe. He was a master of voodoo. This corpse powder was given to your ancestor by him. Fortunately, the amount of this thing was not much each time. It was used until my generation, but only half of it was used. Fong Tian said, after I give it to you, you must use it sparingly. If you use it up, there won't be any left. Miao tribe. Voodoo? Yang Ming's heart trembled as he thought of Lan Ling. I don't know if she is doing well now. I've been gone for so long. Why hasn't she contacted me yet? Now she should have reached Yunnan, right? Fong Tian saw that Yang Ming's expression was a bit strange. Naturally, he didn't know that he was having a headache because of Lan Ling. He thought that Yang Ming was curious about the connection between the voodoo and the corpse powder, so he explained, in fact, this corpse powder is also a kind of voodoo. Voodoo is a kind of bacteria or bug cultivated by the Miao people. You can see this from the word voodoo. The so-called voodoo is the word bug in the word bug in the word utensil. In other words, the bug in the utensil is a voodoo. This corpse powder is a kind of voodoo. It isn't a chemical. Even sulfuric acid isn't so corrosive. This is a kind of bacteria. It is usually in a dormant state. When it encounters a human body, it will wake up and quickly grow and reproduce, swallowing the human body. When it leaves the carrier of the human body, it will quickly die and vaporize. It can't be collected and used again. This thing is actually not rare in the hands of the Miao people. It is said that during the war between the white and black Miao, this corpse powder was used to quickly dispose of the enemy's body. Yang Ming nodded and thought, perhaps Lan Ling's grandmother knows how to make this kind of thing. Because of Lan Ling, Yang Ming woke up a little later in the morning. Therefore, the fixed training time every day was shortened. He didn't want to give up halfway, so he decided to use the time at night to continue strengthening himself. When it came to speed and strength, if one didn't advance, they would regress. At least that was the case in the beginning. Yang Ming didn't want to develop his laziness. Thinking of this, Yang Ming walked towards the small forest north of the school. At night, the little forest seemed particularly desolate and cold. Ah! A shrill female voice cut through the silent night sky. Yang Ming was stunned. Could it be a Chinese ghost story in the middle of the night? However, Yang Ming wasn't afraid of these ghosts. He quickly flashed to the side of a tree and hid his figure. He calmly and vigilantly looked around. This was a habit that he had developed through the systematic assassin training during this period of time. When the situation was abnormal, he had to find a place to cover himself. In the dark, hiding under the shadow of a big tree was the best cover. Not only could the big tree effectively block external attacks, it would also make his target less obvious. However, no one noticed Yang Ming. Yang Ming had already determined the direction of the sound through observation. Not far away, under the moonlight, a girl in white was squatting on the ground. She was looking at a man in black with a knife in front of her in horror. Beside the girl was a small bag. The things inside were scattered all over the ground. Yang Ming used his night vision to see that the things in the bag were some straw mushrooms. What are you doing? The girl looked at the man in black in front of her in horror. In fact, the girl's voice wasn't loud, but in the silent night, Yang Ming could still clearly hear every word she said. Even if he couldn't hear it clearly, Yang Ming could read her lips clearly with his ability. Take out all the valuable things on your body. Wallet, mobile phone, necklace. The man in black raised the knife in his hand and threatened. However, the man in black's voice was trembling. Yes, today was his first time robbing. He was forced to do it. Generally, people with robbing experience would never rob in such a sparsely populated forest. However, Ho Junhan thought that robbing could only be done on small roads or in deep mountains and forests. He was too influenced by TV and novels. But it was also a coincidence. When he just arrived in the woods today, he saw a little girl squatting on the ground picking mushrooms. So Ho Junhan took the knife and approached her. He didn't expect the little girl to suddenly shout, which shocked Ho Junhan. However, Ho Junhan immediately thought that this was a forest. No one would pass by, so he was relieved. He was afraid that the little girl would resist. Yes, the knife was only used to scare people. He never had any intention to kill people. If he wasn't forced by life, he wouldn't have come out to rob. Therefore, although Ho Junhan's face was calm, his heart was surging. I hope that she can obediently take out the money and give it to me. I really have no choice. If I wasn't waiting for the money to save my life, I wouldn't do this kind of thing. It was very strange. Yang Ming actually heard the voice of the man in black. Yang Ming was sure that he absolutely didn't speak. Yang Ming was a little annoyed. Why does my special ability only appear in very urgent situations every time? I can't calm down and think about how to use this ability. I don't have a mobile phone. Lin Jiyun subconsciously covered the pocket of her jeans with her hand. There was 1,200 yuan in it. It was the salary that she just received this month as a tutor. Now her father's leg wasn't fully recovered. This money was used to buy medicine for him. I can't let the person in front of me take it away. However, Lin Jiyun still didn't have much social experience. Her current action showed that she was trying to hide something. What's in your pants pocket? Take it out and let me see. The man in black apparently noticed Lin Jiyun's action and asked. No, nothing. Lin Jiyun said stutteringly. Nothing? Are you going to do it yourself or are you waiting for me to do it? The man in black obviously didn't believe it. I can't give you the money. Lin Jiyun said stubbornly. Not giving? Why not? Aren't you afraid that I will kill you? The man in black took a step closer. The bright knife, under the moonlight, glowed with a miserable white light. This money I can't give it to you. I beg you, let me go. Lin Jiyun's face showed a trace of helplessness. Do you want money or your life? The man in black saw that the little girl in front of him was so stubborn, and he was a little annoyed. He saw robberies in movies. When the robber moved the knife, the person who was robbed was so scared that he took the initiative to take out the money. What happened to the person in front of him? Lin Jiyun clenched her teeth and said, my money is for my father to buy medicine. I can't give it to you. Buy medicine? The man in black was stunned, but then he said angrily, you're talking nonsense. You look so white and beautiful. At first glance, I can see that you are a child of a rich family. You don't even know how to lie. Lin Jiyun was a little dumbfounded when she heard it. Does a pretty face have to come from a rich family? What kind of logic is this? However, she still had to explain, this, big brother, my money is really for my father to buy medicine. I didn't lie to you. Didn't lie to me? How can there be such a coincidence in the world? I came out to rob money just to treat my mother's illness. You, on the other hand, are buying medicine for your father? At this point, Yang Ming also understood why this man in black wanted to rob. Turned out that there was a reason. However, why does that girl look so familiar? Or have I seen her before? Yang Ming's eyesight was much better than that of the man in black. It was dark at night, and the man in black couldn't see Lin Jiyun's clothes. If it was during the day, he could see that she was wearing some cheap street goods and her clothes were washed a little white. Can this kind of person be rich? However, Yang Ming could see clearly that what this girl said might be the truth. These two pitiful people. Yang Ming shook his head. Originally, he was going to use violent means to subdue or kill the man in black. But now he had to change his mind. Yang Ming sighed and walked in the direction of the man in black and the girl. As he walked, he said loudly, how much do you want? Chapter 216. Ho Junhan was shocked. My God, why are there people around here? When he looked back and saw the tall and mighty figure of Yang Ming, he couldn't help but think that it wasn't good. Although Ho Junhan was retired from the special forces, he usually couldn't get close to 3 or 4 people. But now he was robbing. He couldn't help but feel guilty. If it was only one person, he could threaten with a knife. But with another one, Ho Junhan was a little powerless. He was afraid that Yang Ming would call the police. Who are you? Don't come over. Ho Junhan said as he approached Lin Jiyun with the knife. If you come over again, I will kill her. I am a student of this school. Yang Ming said with a smile. I passed by here and saw this scene. Passed by here? Who are you lying to? Why did you come to this kind of place? Oh right, you must know this woman. You saw that she didn't come back for a long time, so you came to find her, right? Ho Junhan analyzed. Your ability in the association is quite strong. I don't know her. Yang Ming shook his head. But don't you want money? It's the same as who you want it from. How much do you want? Just say a number. When Lin Jiyun heard Yang Ming say that he didn't know her, she was slightly relieved. It seemed that he had completely forgotten her. However, Lin Jiyun had some feelings of melancholy. You want to give me money? Ho Junhan was obviously an inexperienced person. Otherwise, he wouldn't ask such a question. Yes, before I change my mind, you'd better not question it. Yang Ming said faintly. You, really? Then I want 2,000 yuan. Can you give it to me? Ho Junhan asked stutteringly. In fact, 1,000 yuan was enough for the surgery fee. He wanted 2,000 yuan because he was afraid of accidents. You tell me what you want the money for. If it is really useful, then I will give it to you. Yang Ming said with an unquestionable tone. The reason why Yang Ming stood here and said these words to him was that Yang Ming accidentally saw his thoughts. A person's thoughts wouldn't lie unless this person was suffering from paranoia. Yang Ming also saw that this person was anxious to get money for his mother's treatment, so he said so much to him. My mother had acute appendicitis. After she was sent to the hospital, she had to be operated on immediately, but I didn't have money. If I didn't have money, the hospital wouldn't operate on my mother. My mother was in so much pain in the hospital. They just used analgesics to control it. In fact, it didn't work at all. Ho Junhan said miserably, I went out to raise money. I went to all the places I could think of, but it was so late. Where could I get the surgery fee? Yang Ming nodded. He knew that acute appendicitis couldn't be delayed. If it perforated, it would be terrible. So he nodded and looked into Ho Junhan's eyes and said word by word, I hope what you said is true. I swear. Ho Junhan quickly raised his right hand and pretended to swear. No need. Yang Ming shook his head. He took out his wallet from his pocket. He counted out 2,000 yuan and handed it to Ho Junhan. You go quickly. This illness can't be delayed. Ah? Are you really giving it to me? This time it was Ho Junhan's turn to be in disbelief. He looked at Yang Ming in a daze. He was somewhat at a loss. When Yang Ming saw Ho Junhan's expression, he was slightly relieved. Yang Ming was now considered a small tycoon. He usually had nearly 10,000 yuan in his wallet. After Ho Junhan saw it, he didn't have any crooked thoughts. Obviously, he wasn't an evil person. Yang Ming's nerves had been completely stretched. If Ho Junhan dared to do anything greedy, he would not hesitate to stop him. Yes, you don't want it? Yang Ming asked with a smile. Yes. Thank you. Ho Junhan quickly thanked him. Hurry to the hospital. Don't waste time here. Yang Ming shook his head indifferently. At this time 2,000 yuan was nothing to him. Benefactor, please accept Ho Junhan's bow. Ho Junhan's heart was full of unprecedented gratitude to Yang Ming. In this era of material desires, who would give you money for no reason? As Ho Junhan said this, he bowed to Yang Ming. Yang Ming was shocked. Is it necessary? He quickly wanted to help Ho Junhan up, but he didn't expect Ho Junhan's strength to be so strong. Yang Ming used 30% of his strength, but he couldn't help him. Yang Ming frowned slightly. If he used his full strength, he might be able to help this person up, but Yang Ming didn't want to compete with him, so he accepted his bow. Benefactor, I will go first. Can Benefactor leave me your name and address? Ho Junhan saw that Yang Ming's face was a little strange. He was afraid that Yang Ming would misunderstand, so he quickly explained, Benefactor, don't misunderstand. I mean, if I have money in the future, I will return the money to you. Yang Ming nodded and said, It's rare for you to be so thoughtful. My name is Yang Ming. I'm from the Computer Science Department, Level 08 Class 2. You can come to me. Of course, if you don't have enough money, you can also come to me. Yang Ming felt that Ho Junhan's self-esteem was very strong, so he told him the address. Okay, I remember. My name is Ho Junhan. After Ho Jinhan finished, he turned and left quickly. I didn't scare you, right? Yang Ming turned around and said to Lin Jiyun, who was a little stunned. I'm fine. Lin Jiyun shook her head. Did you really give him the money? Why not? Maybe his mother is really hospitalized and he really needs the money. Yang Ming said with a smile, you also saw it. He only asked for 2,000. I have so much money in my wallet, but he didn't have the slightest interest. This proves that he isn't a real robber. Maybe. Lin Jiyun nodded. Yeah, who doesn't have a difficult time? In the beginning, wasn't I also forced to go on the road of selling my body? But isn't this Yang Ming's heart a bit too good? Last time he gave me 3,000. This time he gave the person 2,000. Is it because his family is too rich? That's not right. Yang Ming's clothes are similar to mine. Last time he also took the subway. Why would a rich person take the subway? What's wrong with you? Yang Ming saw that Lin Jiyun was in a daze, so he asked curiously. Was she scared out of her wits? I am fine. As Lin Jiyun said this, she bent down and began to pick up the straw mushrooms that fell on the ground. Let me help you. Yang Ming squatted down and helped Lin Jiyun pick up the straw mushrooms. This is a straw mushroom, right? Did you pick it here? Yeah, it just rained in the afternoon. There were a lot of straw mushrooms in this small forest. I picked some and prepared to go home to make soup for my father. Lin Jiyun nodded and said. Is the taste of the straw mushroom good? I haven't eaten it yet. Yang Ming said to himself. It's very delicious. It's much better than those artificially cultivated mushrooms. Or I will give you some. You can go back and try it. Lin Jiyun suggested. Forget it. I'm a big man. I don't know how to do it. These straw mushrooms are wasted. Yang Ming smiled. Yang Ming's original intention was, can't you just give me some when you're done with it? Anyway, I saved you, right? Oh. But Lin Jiyun just said "og" and didn't say anything. Motherfucker, it seems that I'm thinking too much. Yang Ming shook his head. A hero saving a beauty isn't so efficacious. After picking up the straw mushrooms scattered on the ground, Lin Jiyun said to Yang Ming with some embarrassment, just now? Thank you. Then I'll go first? Are you also a student of Songjiang Industry University? Asked Yang Ming. Lin Jiyun nodded. Then let's go together. I'll go back too. In fact, it was because this trail was quite bad at night. They just encountered a robbery, so Yang Ming was a little worried. He might as well be a good person to the end and help the Buddha until the end. But I have to go home now, to make soup for my father, said Lin Jiyun. It's so late. How are you going back? Yang Ming looked at the phone and said, it's already 10 o'clock. You still want to go home? My home isn't far from here. I can walk back. Lin Jiyun said. Forget it. Where is your home? I'll send you back. Yang Ming had nothing to do. So late. Letting a girl go home by herself, Yang Ming felt that this was a bit inappropriate. I'm also a man. Oh. Lin Jiyun was stunned. What does he mean? Could it be that he also... Lin Jiyun, who was the campus belle since high school, had many suitors around her. Originally, Lin Jiyun thought that Yang Ming wasn't a boy who was greedy for her appearance. He didn't expect. But it's impossible. Then why did he buy my first night and leave? Lin Jiyun was a little confused. Chapter 217. Yang Ming saw Lin Jiyun's expression and understood. Maybe this girl had just been robbed, so she didn't trust him. So he smiled and said, my name is Yang Ming. I'm also a student at Songjiang Industry University. I'm in computer science level 08. This is my student ID. As Yang Ming said this, he reached into his pocket. No, you don't have to take it. I didn't mean that. How could Lin Jiyun not know Yang Ming? This man gave her an unforgettable impression, but it was very late now. She didn't want to trouble Yang Ming. Yang Ming was stunned. He suddenly looked at Lin Jiyun carefully and said in surprise, I know you. Lin Jiyun was shocked by Yang Ming's sudden words. She almost jumped out. He knows me. Could it be he remembered? Lin Jiyun's heart was in a panic. She didn't know if it was because of fear or shyness, but her face was slightly flushed. How do you know me? Lin Jiyun asked stutteringly. When Yang Ming saw Lin Jiyun's expression, he thought it was because of her surprise. He didn't put it in his heart, so he explained, yeah, were you robbed by a gangster at the commercial street last time? So he was talking about this. Lin Jiyun breathed a sigh of relief and nodded. Then she pretended to be suddenly enlightened and said, "Oh, I remember. You were the person who helped me catch the bad guy last time." "That's right, what a coincidence. But you're really unlucky to have been robbed twice." Yang Ming shook his head. "It's true that kind people are bullied. This gang of robbers specifically picked the weak to bully. If they have the guts, why don't they rob me?" However, the robbers weren't stupid. Yang Ming was such a tall and strong person. Who would want to find trouble with him? Of course they would pick the soft persimmon to bully. "Hee, thank you for saving me twice," Lin Jiyun said in her heart. In fact, it was 3 times. It was just one of them. "We don't owe each other anymore, right? Although you didn't want it at that time, you got what you deserved after that." Lin Jiyun was very conflicted. From the bottom of her heart she felt that Yang Ming was a good person. Subconsciously she also wanted to have more contact with this boy. Regardless of whether she had feelings for him or not, a woman would always have a special feeling for the man who took her first time. However, rationally Lin Jiyun told herself that they didn't owe each other anything. She didn't want Yang Ming to despise her for what she had done in the past after knowing the truth. Because Lin Jiyun felt that betraying herself was a very despicable thing. Since Yang Ming didn't recognize her, then she didn't need to take the initiative to reveal it. "Oh right, what's your name? We've met so many times but I still don't know your name," Yang Ming asked as he walked. "My name is Shinlin." Lin Jiyun didn't know why this name came out of her mouth. She subconsciously told Yang Ming a fake name. She was afraid that Yang Ming would think of something when he heard her name. The name Shinlin was a combination of her parents' surnames. Her mother's surname was Shin and her father's surname was Lin. However, this name was quite nice. It sounded like a girl's name. "Shinlin. Hee, nice to meet you." Yang Ming naturally didn't realize that Lin Jiyun was lying to him, so he naturally thought that Shinlin was Lin Jiyun's real name. The 2 people walked to the school gate. Lin Jiyun said, "Yang Ming, thank you. You can just send me here. I will walk back by myself. It's so late." "How can I be relieved if you walk by yourself? If I didn't know, it would be fine. Since I already know, if I let you go back alone and something happens to you, wouldn't my conscience be hurt?" Yang Ming said. "But, if you send me off, how are you going to come back?" Lin Jiyun asked. "Don't worry. I have a car." Yang Ming took out Zhang Bin's car key from his pocket. There were 2 sets of car keys. Zhang Bin gave Yang Ming a set, so Yang Ming also had a car key. Lin Jiyun was even more confused. Yang Ming didn't look like a child from a rich family. How did he even have a car? "Last time, didn't I see him taking the subway? It's a dorm mate's car. We will drive together." Yang Ming saw that Lin Jiyun was a little surprised, so he explained. "Oh." Lin Jiyun nodded. Yang Ming had already opened the remote control of the car door. She couldn't refuse Yang Ming's kindness. He got in the car with Yang Ming. Yang Ming started the car and asked, "Where do you live?" "Shanty Town." Since they were already in the car, Lin Jiyun couldn't hide it anymore. "What?" Yang Ming was stunned. "Isn't Shanty Town where Fong Tian lives? It takes nearly 20 minutes to get there from here. If you walk you can take the shortcut, but it will take at least half an hour. It's so far away. You said it's nearby?" Lin Jiyun's face was slightly red. She didn't deliberately lie to Yang Ming. She was just afraid that Yang Ming would be worried, so she said that. "It's not very far. If we walk faster we can still reach home in half an hour. Come on, then you have to take the shortcut, right? There aren't even street lights. So late. Aren't you afraid of encountering bad guys again?" Yang Ming shook his head and said, "I've been there before. It's okay. Right, how do you know to take the shortcut?" Lin Jiyun was a little puzzled. "I've been there before. It seems that your luck is a bit bad, right? In such a short time you have been robbed twice." Yang Ming smiled and said, "I have a friend who lives there." Yang Ming was already familiar with the location of Shanty Town. He didn't need Lin Jiyun to guide him. He drove there easily. "You have a friend there?" Lin Jiyun asked curiously. "Who is it?" "I know almost all the neighbors there." "You may not know this friend of mine. He just got out of prison not long ago," Yang Ming said perfunctorily. "Just got out of prison. Are you talking about Uncle Fong?" Lin Jiyun thought about it and asked, "Do you know Fong Tian?" Yang Ming smiled bitterly. It seems that Lin Jiyun knows a lot of people. "Uncle Fong is a good person. When I was young he even hugged me." Lin Jiyun nodded and said, "Later I heard from my family that Uncle Fong was framed and went to prison. Until a while ago I heard that he got out." I even went to see him. Yang Ming didn't expect Lin Jiyun and Fong Tian to have such a relationship. He shook his head and thought this world is really small. Yang Ming didn't want to continue this topic because there were some secrets between him and Fong Tian that couldn't be known by others. The more you talk, the more likely you are to slip up. Although Yang Ming was very careful, it was better to talk less about this kind of thing. So Yang Ming took the initiative to change the topic. Is your father sick? Lin Jiyun was shocked. She thought that Yang Ming recognized her, but when she saw that Yang Ming's expression was normal, she thought that Yang Ming might have heard the conversation between her and the robber named Ho Junhan. It's not a big deal. He just can't walk yet. Try not to go to such a remote place at night. Yang Ming didn't ask much. He just said, you are a girl. It's better to be careful. Today this person is just looking for money. If you encounter a rapist, won't you lose a lot? I know. Lin Jiyun said in her heart, rapist? Yes, I was indeed robbed once. But the person who robbed me was you. You really are a shameless braggart. But Lin Jiyun couldn't say this out loud. AI. Lin Jiyun sighed. She thought that after that incident she would have nothing to do with him and never see him again. She didn't expect to meet him in university. In fact, it wasn't a big deal to be in the same university. Many students in the same school or even in the same batch didn't know each other. But after a few coincidences I actually became friends with Yang Ming. Now we should be friends, right? Forget it. I don't want to think about these annoying things. Lin Jiyun shook her head. She thought, let nature take its course. As long as I don't have any interaction with him it should be fine, right? Then where do you want to go? Yang Ming drove the car to the entrance of Shanty Town. Shin Lin. Yang Ming saw that Lin Jiyun was in a daze, so he called her name. However, Lin Jiyun was in a trance. Yang Ming called Shin Lin, so she didn't pay attention. Shin Lin. Yang Ming called again. And, what? Lin Jiyun finally regained her senses and asked quickly. What are you thinking about? We are here. How do we go? Asked Yang Ming. Sorry. I was just thinking about today's class. Lin Jiyun felt that her face was a little hot. She was lying with her eyes wide open. Turn left at the intersection in front. Chapter 218. Let's stop here. We can't go in front. Lin Jiyun pointed to the intersection in front. Yang Ming parked the car. Lin Jiyun got off and Yang Ming followed. I will go back by myself. I won't trouble you. Lin Jiyun saw that Yang Ming didn't want to leave, so she said quickly. She didn't have any opinion about Yang Ming now, but she was afraid that when she reached home her father would ask Yang Ming to stay. She said her name, then she would be exposed. It doesn't matter. We are already here. I will send you to the door. Yang Ming said. So late. You should go back. Lin Jiyun couldn't be too harsh, but she was afraid that Yang Ming wouldn't listen. He was very conflicted. Besides, I am afraid that my family will see it. It's not good. Well, I will send you somewhere nearby. I will watch you enter the door. I won't go over. Yang Ming said. Okay then. Since the words had come to this point, Lin Jiyun couldn't insist anymore. She had to nod and agree. Lin Jiyun's home wasn't very far from here. It was just through two small roads. Lin Jiyun said, well, my home is in front. It's the one with the lights on, and then you go over. I will watch here. Yang Ming nodded. Then goodbye. Thank you. Lin Jiyun waved to Yang Ming. Goodbye. Yang Ming said. Lin Jiyun walked to the bungalow with lights. When she opened the door of the courtyard she heard someone say, who is it? It's me. Lin Jiyun was shocked. She was afraid that her father would call her name, so she quickly replied. It's Lin Lin. Come in. Father Lin said. Lin Jiyun's nickname was Lin Lin. Lin Jiyun was relieved. Shin Lin could also be called Lin Lin, so Yang Ming shouldn't suspect anything. Yang Ming really didn't think much about it. After watching Lin Jiyun enter the house he turned around and left. On the way back to school, Yang Ming remembered that Qin Mengyan hadn't contacted him for the whole day. Logically speaking, she should have sent him a text message. Yang Ming took out his phone and looked at it. There were no new messages or missed calls, so he called Qin Mengyan. He didn't expect Qin Mengyan's phone to be turned off. Qin Mengyan usually doesn't turn off her phone for 20 hours. Yang Ming looked at the time. It was exactly 11 o'clock. Usually, college students wouldn't be sleeping at this time. Other than Yang Ming's luxurious dormitory, Ordinary dormitories had a fixed power outage at 11 o'clock every night. Therefore, the university students had developed the habit of sleeping after 11 o'clock every night. At this time, Qin Mingyan should still be awake in her dormitory. Yang Ming called Qin Mingyan's dormitory. Oh. A girl picked up the phone, but the voice obviously wasn't Qin Mingyan. This girl's voice was much worse than Qin Mingyan's. It was like a kingfisher. Hello. I'm looking for Qin Mingyan. Yang Ming said. Looking for Qin Mingyan? Who are you? Asked the kingfisher girl. I'm Yang Ming. Yang Ming replied. Most probably, Qin Mingyan's dormitory roommates should have heard of his name. You wait. The kingfisher girl said. After a while the kingfisher girl came back and picked up the phone. Qin Mingyan asked me to tell you that she fell asleep and can't answer the phone. She said that she fell asleep? Yang Ming was stunned and then he laughed. Hey, stop fooling around. You should pass the phone to her. With such creative words, Yang Ming naturally thought that Qin Mingyan was joking with him. Who's fooling around with you? Goodbye. Before Yang Ming could say anything, the kingfisher girl hung up the phone. Yang Ming was a little depressed. What's going on? He quickly called again but no one answered. He guessed that the phone line had been unplugged. Yang Ming was very puzzled. What's going on? Her phone was turned off and she didn't answer the phone? Yang Ming shook his head, but it was so late. Yang Ming couldn't go to the girls' dormitory to see what was going on. Even if he wanted to go, the auntie at the door would definitely not let him in. Yang Ming had to go back to the dormitory first and wait for tomorrow to ask Qin Mingyan. After returning to the dormitory, Zhang Bin hadn't slept yet. He was excitedly talking to Yang Ming about something. When he saw that Yang Ming came back, he quickly stopped him. Just in time. Yang Ming, come over and talk to me. Wait for me to get a drink. Yang Ming was a little puzzled. He sat on the sofa and looked at Tian Donghua next to him. He asked, what's wrong with this guy? Is he excited? Isn't he excited? Last night he just took his girlfriend's virginity. He is excited. Tian Donghua smiled bitterly. And what is it? Yang Ming didn't have time to listen to his nonsense. He thought that Zhang Bin really had something to say. It turned out to be this matter. Yang Ming stood up and walked to his room. You just say that I have a cold. I will go back to sleep first. Damn, I will leave too. Tian Donghua gritted his teeth and stood up. He quickly went to his room and locked the door. When Zhang Bin came back to the living room with 3 bottles of Wangleji, he found that the big living room was empty. Yang Ming? Tian Donghua? Fuck. Zhang Bing raised his middle finger. That's so fucking mean. After that he returned to his room resentfully. Xiao Sisi was a woman last night. She was very tired physically and mentally. She went to bed early. That was why Zhang Bin was so bored and wanted to find someone to talk to. Right at 11 o'clock at night, there was a radio program called Sister Fang's Emotional Hotline. Zhang Bin decided to call and talk to her. When Yang Ming returned to his room, he couldn't wait to open his laptop and log into QQ. He wanted to see if there was a message from Lan Ling. Unfortunately, Lan Ling's avatar was gray and didn't flash. Wild female teacher and I am a superstar left him a message, but they just asked if he was there. Yang Ming didn't reply and turned off QQ directly. His mood was very bad now. Lan Ling didn't contact him. Qin Mingyan suddenly became strange. Yang Ming wasn't in the mood to chat online. The next morning Yang Ming found Zhang Bin. He asked him to tell Qin Mingyan when he saw her in class. He asked her to call him. Zhang Bin was puzzled. Bro, why didn't you call her? I called last night and this morning. She turned off her phone. Yang Ming shook his head helplessly. No way. Did you have a conflict? Asked Zhang Bin. I don't know. We didn't see each other yesterday. Was she angry because I didn't take the initiative to look for her? Yang Ming frowned. It turned out that there were times when they didn't see each other for a day. Qin Mingyan shouldn't be the kind of girl who likes to throw tantrums, right? Well, I will ask for you. Zhang Bin nodded and agreed. But bro, don't blame me for not reminding you. Women, especially women like sister-in-law, you should eat her up as soon as possible. Otherwise it will be easy to have a problem. Take my personal experience as an example. Look at Xiao Sisi. She was very calm to me before, right? Since we did it yesterday she stuck to me. She even sent me a text to have breakfast with her. As he was talking, Zhang Bin's phone rang. Zhang Bin glanced at it and smiled at Yang Ming. Look, it's another call. Yang Ming shook his head. He felt that Qin Mingyan wasn't a casual girl. He didn't want to force her too much, so there was no further progress. Maybe Lan Ling made up for Yang Ming's needs in some aspects, so he slowed down the speed of eating Qin Mingyan. Yang Ming's computer science department had an experiment class this morning. He had to go to the physics laboratory to do experiments. It was a class where he could choose not to go. He just had to submit the experiment report at the end. Yang Ming's mood wasn't very good, so he didn't go. However, it gave Sun Jiwei an opportunity to make a fuss. For a long time, Sun Jiwei had been waiting for an opportunity to trouble Yang Ming. He had already asked someone to investigate Yang Ming's identity. Before the investigation was done, he couldn't offend Yang Ming too much. But it was still okay to use the class monitor's identity to find some trouble. It was reasonable to say that college students generally had a few roll calls at the beginning of the class. After that, the class monitor would take the roll call. The class monitor generally didn't want to offend students, so he turned a blind eye to students who skipped class. He rarely reported to the teacher. But Sun Jiwei was different. When he saw that Yang Ming didn't come to the experiment class today, he was suddenly happy. "Ha, you brat, just wait to be scolded." So, when the experiment teacher asked the class monitor to count the number of people and asked who didn't come to class, Sun Jiwei immediately said, "Yang Ming didn't come." Zhou Jiajia glanced at the class monitor of Class 2 with contempt. She was the assistant class monitor of Class 1. Someone in her class didn't come, but she and the class monitor didn't report it. Chapter 219. Oh, really? Well, you tell this person to the tutor. He actually dared to skip class in his first year. He must be dealt with seriously. The lab teacher said. He didn't have any power to threaten the students because the lab class was an auxiliary course to the physics class. There was no separate exam at the end of the semester, so he directly let the class monitor report to the tutor. Okay. Sun Jiwei nodded and responded happily. Yang Ming, you don't have a 3,000-word reflection this time. I'm afraid you can't cope with it, right? Yang Ming still didn't know that he had been reported by Sun Jiwei behind his back. But it didn't matter even if he knew. Yang Ming had already understood the truth of the university through internet research. It was okay to skip class. As long as he didn't fail the exam, then it was over. As for the tutor, at most he would criticize a few words and ask him to write a reflection. He couldn't be expelled for skipping class, right? He didn't commit any big mistakes like beating a student or insulting a teacher. Yang Ming turned on the computer absent-mindedly. He surfed the internet for a while and found that wild female teacher was actually online. Seeing that Yang Ming was online, wild female teacher immediately sent a sunny smiley face emoji. What made you so happy? Although Yang Ming wasn't in a good mood, he couldn't pretend to be deaf and mute when his friend was talking to him. You guess. Wild female teacher was in line with all the characteristics of a girl. She liked to let others guess everything. I can't guess. Yang Ming directly sent a sweating emoji. I can be with him soon, said wild female teacher. Then congratulations. I seem to have some problems here. Yang Ming said helplessly. You and your girlfriend? Asked wild female teacher. Yang Ming wanted to type yes, but his phone rang. Yang Ming picked it up and saw that it was Zhang Bin's call. He quickly picked it up. Hey Zhang Bin, how is it? Have you seen Mingyan? Yang Ming asked quickly. After all, Qin Mingyan was the first girl he fell in love with after Suya, so Yang Ming was very worried about her. Bro, Qin Mingyan didn't come to class today. Zhang Bin said. Didn't come? What happened? Yang Ming was shocked. I asked the class monitor. Zhang Bin said that Qin Mingyan didn't come yesterday. Someone else helped her apply for sick leave. Ill? Yang Ming was stunned. What the hell is going on? When she called her dormitory yesterday, her roommate didn't say anything. Yang Ming suddenly realized that things seemed to be a bit serious. I got it. You go ahead. Yang Ming nodded. Bro, what's going on between you and sister-in-law? Zhang Bin was a bit puzzled. Haven't both of you been doing well? Don't mention it. I still haven't figured out what's going on. Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. Alright, let's not talk about it first. I will think of another way. Alright, let's not talk about it. Class is starting soon. Zhang Bin hung up the phone. Yang Ming was a bit upset. He replied to wild female teacher. I have something to do now. Let's talk another day. Yang Ming's words made Zhao Ying grit her teeth in anger. She had finally found a netizen to share her happiness with, but she did not expect this guy to be in such a bad mood that he would ignore her. This damn there's no true love in this world. No wonder you are always heartbroken. You want to pick up girls with a broken name? Go to hell. I hope you will be single for life. No wonder Zhao Ying was angry. She just received the postgraduate admission letter from Songjiang Industry University. She was in a good mood and wanted to find a friend to talk about her happiness. However, Wang Xiaoyan went to university. She often stayed in the dormitory and rarely came back. Zhao Ying, who was bored, quickly went on QQ. She saw that there's no true love in this world was online, so she wanted to share her happiness with him. She didn't expect this guy to be heartbroken again. With his interference, Zhao Ying's good mood was completely gone. Zhao Ying angrily cursed there's no true love in this world to be single for life. She didn't know that she also cursed herself. Yang Ming turned off the computer and rushed to the female dormitory. On the way he called Qin Mengyan, but he still heard the voice prompt that was cursed by thousands of people. Sorry, the number you have dialed is turned off or not in the service area. Yang Ming was helpless. He had to walk quickly to the female dormitory. Hey, that male student, stop. Yang Ming wanted to enter the dormitory, but he was stopped by the auntie at the entrance of the dormitory. Auntie, my girlfriend is sick. I am going up to give her some medicine. Yang Ming said with a smile. Give medicine? Where is the medicine? The auntie at the entrance rolled her eyes and looked at Yang Ming. If this is the case, I have to go up and see how she is before I can buy medicine for her. Yang Ming was embarrassed. He didn't expect the auntie at the entrance to be so smart. I don't think you are here to deliver medicine. Hurry up and leave. Otherwise I will find your tutor. The auntie at the entrance said coldly. Auntie, my girlfriend is really sick. Let me go up. I will come down immediately. This is my student ID. Yang Ming had no choice but to take out his student ID. No, who knows what you are going to do. It is class time now. What if you lose something? The auntie at the entrance waved her hand. Auntie, I will tell you the truth. I had a conflict with my girlfriend. She didn't pick up my phone. She also unplugged the dormitory phone. She didn't go to class today. I am here to persuade her. Yang Ming had to use his trump card. Auntie, you don't want to see a happy marriage break, right? Yang Ming said sternly. He thought he would win the sympathy of the auntie, but he didn't expect the auntie's face to be cold. She said coldly, it's better if it breaks. How old are you? You just started university and you already learned how to date. Students today, after the 90s, the world is deteriorating day by day. Thinking back, in our era, dating in university would be recorded by the school. That is a matter of style. But Yang Ming scolded that he made a mistake. This old woman must have been abandoned by her husband. Menopausal syndrome plus psychosis. Motherfucker, what does dating have to do with you? Deteriorating day by day? I think you are in need of fuck. After being rolled eyes for no reason, Yang Ming had to leave the female dormitory bitterly. However, he was not reconciled. If he didn't see Qin Mengyan, he would never be able to find out the truth. If Qin Mengyan didn't turn on her phone and didn't leave the dormitory, it would be difficult for him to find out the truth. Yang Ming observed the structure of the female dormitory. Qin Mengyan's dormitory was on the 3rd floor. It wasn't too high. It wasn't impossible to climb up from here. However, Yang Ming wasn't going to climb up to the 3rd floor directly. The window of the bathroom on the 2nd floor was open. Yang Ming could go up to the 3rd floor from the 2nd floor. As for the window on the 1st floor, it was blocked by a protective fence. As the successor of the King of Assassins, Fang Tian's training for him wasn't only about killing skills, but also the flexibility of the body. For example, climbing trees, buildings, and some survival skills in special environments. Yang Ming went to the back of the dormitory. There weren't many people paying attention here. Yang Ming looked around. After confirming that there was no one, he quickly jumped on the guardrail on the 1st floor. Then he stepped on the guardrail and climbed to the window of the bathroom on the 2nd floor. Yang Ming first observed inside. After confirming that there was no one, he used his hand to jump on the windowsill. But at this moment, a person came in from the bathroom door. Yang Ming was startled, and so was the person who came. Yang Ming couldn't jump down now. He had to brace himself and face it. The girl raised her head and suddenly saw a boy jump in from outside the window. Naturally, she was shocked. Just as she was about to scream, Yang Ming immediately waved his hand and said, "Zhao Cece, don't scream. It's me." It turned out that the person who came in was Zhao Cece. She had just fought 300 rounds with Zhang Bin yesterday. Her lower body wasn't very comfortable. It wasn't convenient for her to walk, so she didn't go to class today. Since no one was around, she wanted to go to the bathroom to wash up. She didn't expect to see Yang Ming. "Why is it you?" Zhao Cece was stunned. "Why did you come in from here?" "It's a long story. Qin Mengyan seemed to be in a fight with me. Zhang Bin said that she didn't come to class today, so I came to see her. The auntie downstairs didn't let me in. I had no choice but to jump through the window." Yang Ming said helplessly, "Oh yeah, why didn't you go to class?" Zhao Cece's matter wasn't easy to explain. She could only mumble, "I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't go." Yang Ming saw the basin and shampoo in Zhao Cece's hands. He roughly understood what happened. He smiled ambiguously at her and said, "Then I'll go first." Zhao Cece saw Yang Ming's smile and glared at him unhappily. But she was a bit envious of Qin Mengyan. She didn't know if Zhang Bin would come to coax her if she was angry. Chapter 220. Fortunately, the person he met just now was Zhao Cece. If it was another person, Yang Ming really couldn't explain it clearly. Out of the bathroom, Yang Ming had to be careful. After quickly going up to the third floor, he looked around the corner for a long time to make sure that there was no one. Then he began to look for Qin Mengyan's room. Qin Mengyan lived in room 307. The layout here was similar to Yang Ming's dormitory building, so Yang Ming could easily determine the direction. When he approached room 207, he suddenly heard a babbling sound. Yang Ming was shocked. "Damn, it can't be. Could it be that Qin Mengyan is too lonely and is entertaining herself?" Yang Ming looked up and glanced at the room number. It turned out to be 305. Shocked, Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. "I knew it. My little Mengyan is so pure, she wouldn't do such a lewd thing." Arriving at the door of room 307, Yang Ming knocked on the door, then quickly moved to the side where the peephole couldn't see. Since Qin Mengyan didn't turn on her phone, it was obvious that she didn't want to talk to him. Then if she saw him at the door, she definitely wouldn't open the door, so Yang Ming came up with such a plan. "Who is it?" After a while, Yang Ming heard Qin Mengyan's voice. He didn't know what she was doing just now. Maybe she was sleeping. Qin Mengyan was really sleeping. After going back that night, Qin Mengyan cried all night. The next day, her eyes were dark. Naturally, it was impossible for her to go to class. She had no choice but to ask her roommates to help her ask for leave. And she also slept upside down. She was sad at night and slept during the day. As for the phone not being turned on, in fact, Qin Mengyan's phone was out of battery. She was too lazy to charge it, so she threw it aside. After coming back that night, Qin Mengyan had been playing with her phone, wanting to send a text message to Yang Ming to end their relationship. However, Qin Mengyan couldn't make up her mind, so the text message was edited and deleted and re-edited. Often, after repeating it all night, the phone ran out of battery and automatically shut down. In fact, the reason why Qin Mengyan didn't charge it was that she was afraid that she couldn't help but send a breakup text message to Yang Ming. In this way, when the phone ran out of battery, Qin Mengyan had an excuse to comfort herself. Qin Mengyan really didn't understand. Why would Yang Ming be with another girl behind her back? This morning, Qin Mengyan had just fallen asleep when she heard a knock on the door. She thought that it was the counselor who knew that she was sick and came to verify. However, when Qin Mengyan asked, there was no answer from outside the door. So she looked out through the peephole and found that there was no one outside. Qin Mengyan naturally wouldn't go to the association to see any ghosts. She thought that the person who came saw that no one answered for a long time and left. So Qin Mengyan naturally opened the door of the dormitory. At this moment, Yang Ming, who had been waiting for a long time, quickly jumped up and rushed to the door of Qin Mengyan's room. Qin Mengyan suddenly saw a black shadow rush over and was shocked. In her mind, all kinds of things like female dormitory robber and corridor pervert suddenly appeared. She was so scared that she quickly closed the door. Yang Ming's eyes were sharp and his hands were quick. He quickly blocked the door with his hands. Quang dang. Qin Mengyan didn't care if he had hands or not. She forcefully closed the door. She subconsciously thought that Yang Ming was a bad guy. "Mengyan, it's me. Yang Ming screamed. "Yang Ming?" Qin Mengyan was shocked. She quickly let go of her hands and opened the door. She saw Yang Ming standing at the door with a twisted face. The joints of his right hand were swollen. Originally, Qin Mengyan was full of resentment towards Yang Ming. She didn't want to pay attention to him. However, when she saw Yang Ming's bear-like hand, she couldn't bear it. In the end, she asked with concern, "Your hand, is it okay?" "It's okay. Man, can you let me in first? I'm standing in the corridor. In a while, the auntie at the entrance of the building will come up to check. She will kick me out," Yang Ming said with a grimace. "Didn't she let you in?" Qin Mengyan asked strangely. "She didn't let me in. I climbed up to the second floor myself." Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Oh. Qin Mengyan was shocked. She didn't expect Yang Ming to climb up. Originally, Qin Mengyan wanted to kick him out immediately. However, seeing his pitiful appearance, most of her anger was vented. Therefore she said, "Then you come in." Yang Ming entered the room and locked the door behind him. "What are you going to do?" Qin Mengyan saw Yang Ming lock the door and asked cautiously. He was wearing pajamas. She didn't wear a bra or underwear. It was a bit unnatural to face Yang Ming like this. "My hand is already like this. What else can I do? I'm just afraid that someone will suddenly come in." Yang Ming shook his head and said, "Besides, with our current relationship, what can't we do?" "What relationship? I have nothing to do with you." Qin Mengyan suddenly looked cold and said with some disgust. It was fine if Yang Ming didn't mention it. This sentence suddenly hit Qin Mengyan's sore spot. It was because Yang Ming treated her with respect that she was upset and went out to relieve her boredom. This caused a series of problems. "And what's wrong with you?" Yang Ming's attitude towards Qin Mengyan was a bit strange. She was clearly fine before. Why did she suddenly become indifferent to him? Did she have a change of heart? Yang Ming had read some novels about women having a change of heart. However, he felt that Qin Mengyan wasn't the kind of girl who despised the poor and loved the rich. This could be seen from her previous performance. If not, she would have chosen Wang Jitao. "I'm fine. I'm fine." Qin Mengyan frowned. "Then you are now." Yang Ming was very puzzled. "Yang Ming, I don't want to see you right now. You should go back." Qin Mengyan was in a bad mood. She didn't want to say too much. Rationally, although she wanted to directly tell Yang Ming that she didn't want to see him again, Qin Mengyan couldn't bear to say it. The feelings of first love were always hard to give up. "What do you mean? Man, what's going on? Can you explain it clearly? Did I offend you?" Yang Ming was getting more and more confused. Qin Mengyan didn't want to expose him directly. However, when she saw Yang Ming's innocent look, she was angry. "You're quite good at pretending. How can you not know what you have done?" Therefore she looked at Yang Ming coldly and said word by word, "If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. You know very well what you've done to me. If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. Do I know what I've done to let me down?" Yang Ming didn't feel anything when he heard the first sentence. However, when he heard the second sentence, Yang Ming was shocked. Could it be that Qin Mengyan knew something? She knew about the matter between me and her? Yang Ming wanted to look at Qin Mengyan's expression. However, when he saw Qin Mengyan's sharp eyes, he couldn't help but feel guilty. "Mengyan, did you hear something? Do you want to tell me that I can't believe in hearsay? 3 men make a tiger?" Qin Mengyan looked at Yang Ming coldly. "Mengyan, Yang Ming didn't know what to say. "Yang Ming, you underestimated me too much. I, Qin Mengyan, am not the kind of person who speaks without thinking." Qin Mengyan suddenly sneered. "Yang Ming, I really misjudged you. You dare to do it but don't dare to admit it. Let's break up." It seemed that Qin Mengyan must have gotten the actual evidence. She wasn't just making groundless accusations to scare me. After Yang Ming confirmed this, he simply let it go. He raised his head and looked directly at Qin Mengyan. "Well, Mengyan, I admit that I have other girlfriends besides you." Qin Mengyan nodded. Qin Mengyan even heard the sound of her heart breaking. In her heart, she even hoped that Yang Ming wouldn't admit it, or explain that the girl was just his sister. However, this only hope was completely shattered by Yang Ming's words. Qin Mengyan's tears silently flowed down. Most of the time women were irrational. If Yang Ming insisted that he had nothing to do with the girl, then Qin Mengyan might believe Yang Ming's lie. She would pretend that she didn't know anything and reconcile with Yang Ming. As long as Yang Ming didn't contact the girl, it would be fine. But now Qin Mengyan felt that the sky was falling. Seeing it with her own eyes and hearing Yang Ming admit it with her own ears were two completely different concepts. Qin Mengyan didn't have a trace of fantasy. She stared blankly at the floor. Mengyan, although I hid this matter from you and it was my fault, this matter wasn't my original intention. Yang Ming quickly explained. Why are you still talking about this? You should go. Qin Mengyan didn't look at Yang Ming. She just muttered with a trembling voice. Mengyan, listen to me. At this point, Yang Ming simply didn't hide anything and decided to tell the truth. In the end, this matter couldn't be blamed on him alone. Qin Mengyan should also take some responsibility. Chapter 221. Mengyan, a lot of things can't be controlled by human power. Since some things have already happened, I can't do anything about it. I can only try my best to deal with it. Yang Ming's mood was very agitated now. He wanted to have a showdown with Qin Mengyan. As for the result, he didn't know. It wasn't your wish? Then you mean that I asked you to do this? Qin Mengyan sneered. Probably. Yang Ming hesitated. What did you say? Qin Mengyan didn't expect Yang Ming to say this. She was furious. Yang Ming, you have to make it clear today. What is going on? Mengyan, I don't want to lie to you. Her name is Lan Ling. We met during the summer vacation of our 3rd year of high school. Yang Ming sighed and said slowly, I brought her back from Yunnan. Qin Mengyan looked at Yang Ming coldly. She wanted to hear what this heartless man had to say. Her life experience is very pitiful. Her mother passed away when she was young. Her father was addicted to gambling. After he lost all the money in the family, he sold her to the bathing center and forced her to do that thing. So, you brought back a lady out of kindness? Qin Mengyan was a little annoyed when she heard this. If it was a normal time, she might analyze all of this rationally. But today she was really a little bit mad, so the questions she asked were all sarcastic to Yang Ming. It was the first time for her and me. Yang Ming said, she was only 16 years old. I didn't want her to fall into that kind of place, so I brought her back. You went to the bathing center to do that kind of thing? You are quite reasonable, right? Qin Mengyan had some sympathy for Lan Ling's experience. But this matter had nothing to do with Yang Ming. If you didn't cheat, would you encounter this kind of thing? I wasn't reasonable. In fact, at that time I was very troubled because of your matter. I don't know what Wang Jitao said to you, but you suddenly ignored me. Yang Ming sighed. Zhang Bin wanted to go to Yunnan, so I went with him to relax. I was in a state of heartbreak. I was urged by Zhang Bin, so it was easy to do some impulsive things. At that time I thought you were ignoring me, so I wanted to vent. Qin Mengyan suddenly heard Yang Ming mention that she listened to Wang Jitao's slander. And suddenly she blushed. Recalling her attitude at that time. It was inevitable that Yang was disheartened, but no matter how disheartened you were, you couldn't go out and find a prostitute. But her words softened a little. Didn't I call you afterward to apologize? But at that time I had already brought Lan Ling back. This was the reason why I always avoided you for a while. I didn't know what to do. I like you very much. I don't want to lose you, but I can't lose Lan Ling. Yang Ming explained. Well, the matter has come to this. I don't want to ask who is more important in your heart, me or Lan Ling. I just want to know your decision. Who do you choose? Qin Mengyan decided to give Yang Ming one last chance. According to his statement, this fault really couldn't be entirely blamed on him. Mengyan, don't make it difficult for me. Both of you are equally important to me. Yang Ming said firmly. Moreover, there is a very important reason that makes it impossible for me to give up Lan Ling. Besides, I also have feelings for her. Really? Then why are you still here? Go and find your Lan Ling. Qin Mengyan was embarrassed and angry. Since you can't give up, then why are you still talking to me? But I don't want to lose you. Yang Ming said word by word. Don't want to lose me? Qin Mengyan was stunned, then she smiled sarcastically. Yang Ming, are you dreaming? Do you mean that you want me and Lan Ling to be your girlfriend? You want to have a girlfriend on both sides? Probably, that's what I mean. Yang Ming scratched his head awkwardly. Why don't you go to hell? Qin Mengyan was furious. Your idea is too advanced or too ancient. I can't accept it. Man, listen to me first. One of the important reasons why I can't leave Lan Ling is that I am under the voodoo of her mother. Yang Ming didn't hide it anymore. He had decided that no matter what, he would get Qin Mengyan back. So it's okay to tell her his secret. Yang Ming, didn't you say that her mother is dead? Qin Mengyan looked at Yang Ming as if he was treating her like a fool. Before her mother died, she put it on Lan Ling. Lan Ling is from the Miao tribe. Her mother is a famous voodoo master in the Miao tribe. Yang Ming shook his head and said, men who have sex with Lan Ling will be under this voodoo. Once he leaves Lan Ling, he will explode and die. Yang Ming told Qin Mengyan about the characteristics of the voodoo, as well as the grudge between Lan Ling's mother and Lan Ling's father. Really? Qin Mengyan was a little suspicious. As a person who was educated in modern social science, she didn't understand these mysterious things, but it wasn't that she didn't believe it. After all, young people's ability to accept things was stronger. What's the point of me lying to you? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. You will know when you see her in the future. In the future? What do you mean? Qin Mengyan gradually recovered some rationality. She left. Her grandmother came to find her and brought her back to Yunnan. She wanted to teach her some skills. It should be related to voodoo. The shortest would be 1 year, the longest would be 3 years. Yang Ming said with some melancholy. Left. Qin Mengyan's heart was happy for no reason, but she was still a little depressed when she heard that Lan Ling was coming back. Yang Ming saw that Qin Mengyan seemed to be a little moved, so he quickly changed the topic. He wanted to make Qin Mengyan feel guilty so that she could accept him more easily. So he said, Mengyan, what did Wang Jitao say to you at that time? You don't know how painful it was for me. If I didn't promise you that I would go to Songjiang Industry University, I probably wouldn't be able to hold on in the exam hall. At that time my mind was full of you. Qin Mengyan was shocked when she heard Yang Ming's words. Yeah, why didn't I think of it at that time? Giving Yang Ming such a painful blow might affect his performance in the college entrance exam. While complaining about Wang Jitao's evil intentions, she was also full of guilt towards Yang Ming. She said embarrassedly, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have believed Wang Jitao's words. He took a stack of photos of you at the entrance of Earthly Paradise with a towel on your body and was caught by the police. He said that you were caught for prostitution. But I think he used a computer to synthesize those photos. Yang Ming was stunned. That incident was indeed premeditated by Wang Jitao. Wang Jitao, I didn't plan to pursue this matter with you recently. I didn't expect you to be so evil. Okay, don't say anything. You're almost there. Yang Ming sighed. He didn't want to hide anything from Qin Mengyan anymore. Lin Jiyun's matter would be exposed sooner or later. At that time, if Qin Mengyan knew that he had been hiding it from her, she would definitely be angry. So he might as well say it all. He would say it this time. After that, he would try to get Qin Mengyan's forgiveness. Mengyan, there is one more thing that I have been hiding from you. Yang Ming pretended to be very regretful. What is it? Qin Mengyan's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that what Wang Jitao said was true? In fact, the person in the photo that Wang Jitao gave you is indeed me. But I was framed by Wang Jitao. So Yang Ming told Qin Mengyan how he was invited to the heavenly world for a meal, how he was drugged, how he had sex with Lin Jiyun in a daze, and how he almost became a rapist. Qin Mengyan was angry when she heard it. Wang Jitao is such a bad person. When I go back home, I must tell my father to see if he can be brought to justice. Why are you telling me this? You don't mean to tell me that if you meet this girl again one day, you want her to be your girlfriend, right? Qin Mengyan was very smart. She quickly understood Yang Ming's intention. As a man, there are things to do and things not to do. I hurt her, so naturally I have to compensate her. Yang Ming said very firmly. Is there anything else that you want to confess to me? Qin Mengyan sighed and said faintly. It was undeniable that her tolerance was getting stronger. At least this time she didn't have too much emotional fluctuation. Yang Ming saw Qin Mengyan's expression and was happy. Is there a way? There is nothing to confess. Then it is about you. I touched your chest in the cinema. Shut up. Qin Mengyan glared at Yang Ming and then pointed to the door. You can go. But Yang Ming was stunned. Why did she let me go? Looking at the situation just now, Qin Mengyan wasn't angry anymore, right? In theory, it should be the precursor to accepting me. Why did she return to her previous state after 2 sentences?